Before we get started with tonight's show, I got a whole bunch of super chatters to thank from last episode, starting with Dark Room Reviews. Head on over to Dark Room Reviews and hang out with Joel. He does a whole bunch of fun, unique movie reviews. He just finished a whole slate of Halloween reviews for the Halloween season. If you like horror films or if you just like talking movies in general, definitely check out Joel's channel at Dark Room Reviews. Up next, we've got one of our beloved channel members, Dark Movies. Guys, Dark Movies is such a fun guy to go hang out with. He does movie reviews, he does live streams, he does watch-alongs. Go on over, hang out with Toby, tell him Zach sent you, and give him some love and support. Another beautiful channel member, we've got Movie Time Minute. Guys, DJ has been just incredible to us over here on the channel. He's been so supportive, very generous with the super chats, man. I cannot thank you enough for that, man. And you just crossed 200 subscribers, so congratulations to you as well. Guys, head on over to his channel. Check out the live stream he does every Sunday for the movie news. Check out his movie reviews and help that number just continue to climb. Let's get him to 300. Let's get him to 1,000. And speaking of 1,000, coming in, another beautiful set of channel members. We've got the Spoiler King. The Spoiler Kings recently crossed 1,000 subscribers, and their numbers keep growing, and there's no surprise why. Join Tank, Will, Brian, Brandon over there as they do some really fun live streams where they really connect with their community. They do movie reviews, they do news, they do just fun topics in general surrounding movies and pop culture. They've always got a fun guest or two on, so definitely head on over to Spoiler Kings. Check out Dark Room Reviews, check out Dark Movies, check out Movie Time Minute. All their links down in the description below. And thank you guys so much for supporting the channel on the level that you did. It's the reason I'm able to do this every week. It's what keeps it going, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you. You're in my seat. All right, tonight, guys, we've got a great show lined up for you. Not only are we giving away a digital copy code for Blue Beetle to a special U.S. resident tonight, but we got a lot of stuff to talk about as well, guys. Daredevil finally has a showrunner. Marvel's actually going to be doing showrunners. We're going to talk a lot about that. A Variety article just released talking about Marvel's future plans, how they're feeling, what kind of state they're in right now, and they want to bring back the original Avengers for a film. We'll talk about what I think about that. Deadpool 3 apparently has plans to continue shooting their movie in 2024. Granted, the writer's strike works out this week. And for all you guys who, are not really into Marvel, not really into the comic book movie stuff, we have some horror news for you as well. The Black Phone 2 is coming out, and another horror movie has just gotten announced, a sequel. It Follows, back in 2014, is now getting a follow-up called They Follow. All this and more, as well as writer, director, critic, and friend Jacob Hubbard is joining us on the channel tonight, guys. We also just crossed 2,300 subscribers. We are only 200 subscribers away from hitting our goal at the end of the year. So if you're new and you're just checking us out and you enjoy the show, please consider hitting that subscribe button before you leave. We'd love to have you stick around and join our little community. All right, guys, with all that said, Zach Milne Talks Live starts right now. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Zach Milne Talks Live. Welcome back. Welcome for the first time, as always. If you are joining us for the first time, just a little rundown of how the show works. If you are joining us for the first time, we've got predetermined topics that we talked about in the intro video just now. And in between each topic, we're going to be taking your live comments, questions, theories, speculations, whatever you guys want to talk about. We're going to jump in and talk about it with you. And if you want to support the channel on an even higher level than you guys are already supporting it on, which thank you all for supporting it just by being here, jumping in the chat, engaging with us, we do have a super chat guide. If you guys are having channels of your own, for the super chat guide, if you send in $1.99, I will make a community post at the end of the show shouting out your channel and linking people to it. For $2.99, you get the community post as well as the link in the description of this video. For $4.99 or more, you get the community post, you get the link in the description of this video as well as next episode's video, and you also get a special video shout out like you saw at the top of this show for the next episode. But super chats, as always, are not required to get your question or comment answered. And if you just want to help out the show and you're not live, you're catching us on the replay, we do have a super thanks button at the bottom of every video. So if you want to send in something just to support us, just to support the channel, you can always click on that super thanks button when the show is over, and we appreciate it very much. All right, guys, with that out of the way, let's bring on our guest, because you saw the intro video. You've seen the title and the description. We've got a very special guest here tonight, guys. I believe, nope, he's been on Zach Milne Talks Live before in a group, but this is his solo outing. This is his solo debut. Please welcome writer, director, film critic and friend, Jacob Hubbard.
Oh
What's
my
going on,
God.
man?
I can't believe you added writer and director. You warm my heart, you sweet
Dude,
man.
it's very, very true. If you guys haven't checked out his short films, you've got a couple short films on your channel, right? That you've like submitted in festivals and
Yes,
tell
sir.
tell the people about them. Tell the people a little bit about your work.
So at this current moment, I have three. Technically, it's two. That's good ones. There's one real old one. Anyways, if you go to my channel, which is Jacob Hubbard, I have a playlist of all my short films I've released on the internet. I currently have one right now doing its festival run called Paralysis. It's gotten 7 selections and has won one award for sound, and so we are really proud
Woo!
of. We're really proud of that one. When will everyone see it? Probably in a year because you have to do the festival run and you can't release it to the internet. So, but it's really good from all the reviews. Everyone's really liking it, which is really crazy. So I appreciate you saying writer and director. That's dude, that's so weird. That's so weird.
It's well deserved, man. It's well deserved. That's really awesome. And yeah, of course, Jacob is here, and also you guys are here, and we appreciate you being here. So let's just jump in the chat real quick and let's see who's all here, who's joining us tonight. Got 80s Kid from the 90s, a special and beloved channel member. Thank you for joining us tonight, man. He says, I can't make it tonight, but I wanted to say hello. I guess no more Kang. How do you feel about this, Zach and Jacob? Happy holidays. Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about this Variety article that came out today, talking about the Marvel, I guess, is on their, or maybe they just finished their recent retreat, talking about their plans and what's going to happen in the Marvel Universe going forward. Apparently, it was not a very confident retreat this time around. Apparently, there's a lot
Ooh.
of stuff on their shoulders that's happening. And one of the things that came out is that they are seriously thinking about ditching Kang. And not just because of the personal stuff Jonathan Majors has going on, which I don't feel equipped to talk about. But yeah, they're talking about maybe switching to Doctor Doom. So I'll throw it to you, Jacob. What do you think about that? What do you think about ditching? Are you enjoying the Kang stuff going on right now? Are you watching Loki season 2?
First things first, I want to say thank you so much for the comment, 80s Kid from the 90s. I love that name and happy holidays to you. I don't know if holidays
Great,
means you mean
great.
Halloween or you mean Thanksgiving coming up. So happy holidays to a holiday. I'm assuming Halloween. Anyways, so to answer your first question, yes, I am currently watching Loki season 2. I have not watched tonight's episode, which premieres tomorrow. So technically, it comes out like at 9 p.m. Eastern. So like it's on Disney Plus. I just haven't watched it yet.
You have the tomorrow's episode already on your Disney Plus?
Well, doesn't it come out like on at 9 p.m. the night before? Isn't that a thing?
I get
Right?
I get 6 p.m. on Thursday night over here. So I
I've
don't know
been
how, I don't know how that works, but
I could be real stupid right now. Who knows? Anyways, yes, I have seen the first 4 episodes of Loki and I'm definitely enjoying it, not as much as the first season. So, with that in mind, the whole time I was sitting there watching that show, I was waiting for Kang. And so when he popped up, I'm like, there he is. All right, let's see what they do. I mean, I'm enjoying the storyline. I'm just kind of real curious, especially after reading this article. Like, wait a minute, like, wait a minute, is this am I seeing what's gonna actually happen, or are they gonna just?
yeah. No, I mean, the last episode of Loki was crazy. Episode
Mm-hmm.
4, the way that ended and everything was crazy. But one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that's also interesting in the article is there's this source. They call him a deal maker. I'm not quite familiar with what that means, but apparently he says he's watched the final episode of Loki, and he says Marvel is screwed. He has no idea how they're even going to move forward with Kang. So that gets me intrigued to see how this season's going to end. And I mean, I've really been enjoying the Kang stuff, or maybe not really enjoying, but I've been every time he's popped up, Jonathan Majors has been phenomenal in the role.
Agree.
And it's a very intriguing character to me. So I would be kind of sad to see them ditch it. But Doctor Doom, if they were going to go in that direction, that's not a bad way to go if they're going to ditch Kang.
The thing I saw on Twitter, and I agree with it. I don't know who said it. I just saw it on Twitter or X. Sorry. Is
Don't
basically
apologize. It's a stupid name.
it's basically someone said in season 2 of Loki, I am more scared and feel the villainous villain of Kang more than I did in Ant-Man 3, which I agree with. I
Yeah.
feel like this show is setting up a really powerful villain, and obviously, minor spoiler, the variant we have now for Kang is so interesting because obviously this one doesn't know what's coming. And so I really like this angle. So I agree with you. I'm loving what they're doing with him. It makes me real curious when he says they're screwed. So that makes me wonder, how's this finale going to wrap up with Kang, especially with the Marvels coming out. So like, and I don't, there's stuff
Mhm.
about that came out in the article that I definitely want to talk about. So in the end, to answer the question, how do I feel about this with Kang, No More Kang? I don't want to give up entirely on Kang because they've done so much for his character, but all I can say is I'm sad if he does go, like you said, Zach.
Yeah. I think we'll save the rest of our thoughts for when we get to that topic.
Very much.
But thank you for throwing that in, 80s Kid from the 90s. And I agree with Jacob. Amazing name. It's very great.
That's so classy.
Zach Goller's in here sending a $5 super chat. Dude, that's
Whoa!
super nice of you, dude. Thank you so much for that, man. I appreciate that. And he's saying, R.I.P. Matthew Perry. Chandler Bing was my spirit animal. What's the funniest Chandler Bing moment? First of all, yeah, if you guys saw me on Saturday, I jumped on for a quick stream. This was the most impactful celebrity death that I've ever had. Because I love Friends and I love Chandler, and Chandler was such a relatable character throughout my life for me, and the fact that all 6 friends are gone, or not all of them, but like the fact that we've lost one and we'll never see the core 6 together in a room again. I saw a video from the reunion where Courtney Cox says this is the last time we'll be in this living room set because we're not going to do this again in 15 years, and that just like hits so much harder now because it is the last time because he's not here anymore. And I also saw a video of how he wanted to be remembered. Like he was saying that he wants Friends to be like the last thing mentioned. Like he did a lot of work with helping people in their sobriety, and he set up the Matthew Perry house with his house in Malibu to help those in recovery. So I also want to give a second to highlight that as well, because he was more than just Chandler Bing. But my favorite Chandler Bing moment, honestly, my favorite Chandler Bing line, and I think it's very underrated, is when Joey's trying to figure out how old he was in 1992, and Chandler goes, "You need to stop the Q-tip when there's resistance." That is like an underrated line. That it's funnier when Matthew Perry says it, obviously, but that line has always cracked me up. What about you, Jake? Did you watch Friends? I can't remember if you're a Friends fan.
I have never fully sat down, not one episode have seen a full episode of Friends.
Really?
Really. But I want to just say, obviously, I know what Friends is, the impact of that show. Everyone I know has seen it, everyone loves it. And it looks like a show, like, honestly, if I sat down and watched it, it seems like a show I would like. But I have never seen one episode. So all I can say is rest in peace, Matthew Perry. I loved you in 17 again.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. And thank you for sending that in, Zach. Thank you very much. We got Zach Attack Reviews in here, another channel member and another friend of the channel. He says, "Oh, a duo the world does not deserve, but we need." Oh, that's very sweet of you, man. That's very sweet of you.
Thank you, Zach.
Michael Entity's in here. What's going on, Michael? Thanks for joining us tonight. He says, 2 of the goats on one live stream. Wow, man. How does it feel to be a goat, man? How does it feel to be a goat?
I love it. I want to eat grass.
I'll get the can. Anyways, so he says, "What's your dream video game to be turned into a movie? For me, I would love to see an adaptation of Left 4 Dead, especially since they've expanded the story in the comics." What would you say your video game desire is, Jacob? Do you play video games?
I do. Not as much as I used to, but I grew up with a ton of video games. So my honest answer is I actually want to redo on the Uncharted movie. That is not my Uncharted. Bleh. So to give you a better answer, I saw a tweet today that was talking about Zack Snyder and the game series Gears of War. And ever since I saw that, I was like, I need that in my life, because if you've played Gears of War, then you would know Zack Snyder's style with Gears of War would be amazing to see. To throw anything else out there, I would say Splinter Cell. I think that'd be a really
Oh,
cool
wow. Splinter
franchise.
Cell.
I think it'd be a really cool franchise. I know there's like a lot of spy movies and stuff like that, but like done well. Like I remember a long time ago when they were like, "We're gonna make a Splinter Cell movie and Tom Hardy's gonna be a part of it." I was like, "Oh, that sounds awesome," but basically it never happened. So in the end, right now I'll say Gears of War just because it's on the top of my head. But I do like your Left 4 Dead answer. I used to love Left 4 Dead 1
Oh,
and
dude.
2.
I loved 2 the best. Left 4
Oh,
Dead 2 was like
yeah,
oh man, the boomers, and when they were the witches freaked me out though.
they did
Those
too.
freaky witches in the corner, like especially as someone who was a scaredy cat and couldn't even watch horror movies at the time, those witches gave me nightmares, dude. They were freaky as heck.
I was scared. I was scared of the Ring girl. So, and she reminded me of the Ring because she like sat there with long hair. Ooh.
Oh yeah, the Ring is freaky. If you want to see me
Mhm.
react to the Ring, I got that on the channel. But the Ring is freaky. Uncharted 2 is actually a game that just popped into my mind that I used to play a lot. I don't know how it would work as a movie, but it was a fun game. So I'm gonna throw that out there. We got Luke Ponto. What's going on, Luke? Thanks for joining us, my friend. Thank you for being here. He says, Zach and Jacob, what's up, my bros? I hope you're
Hello,
doing
Mr.
well, Luke.
Ponto.
I caught a little bit of your live Q&A last night, man. Hope you had a great Halloween. Sully Streams, what's going on, Sully? Thanks for joining us tonight. Says, I have to pop in if Jacob's on the stream tonight. That's right. Yep. One of these days, this man will be on our big screens. So we got to remember these moments and cherish them while he's still around.
I'll always be here. I'll be here for you, Zach, for sure.
Yeah, when you're living the Hollywood life.
No, the Hollywood life is still the Jacob Hubbard life. No change. Just making movies. Just making movies.
Well, that 10 years from now, when you're the Christopher Nolan of the industry, I'm going to clip that out. I'm going to make sure that you don't forget that.
Ooh, boy. So don't say anything that get me canceled. Got it.
It's a good tips. Michael Anthony says, all we need is a buddy road trip movie starring Jacob and Zach. I'd definitely pay for that. Dude, get on that script.
I can do that. I just I'm gonna involve your dog and your wife. Just let you know.
Yes, perfect. They can sit in the back seat and we can just have the camera on us for most of the movie. That's brilliant, man. I would love to do that. The View with Drew is in here. What's going on, Drew? Thanks for joining us tonight. He says, and
Hi,
hey,
Drew.
everyone, what's up? What's going on with you, Drew? Toxic Gamer 331's in here. What's going on, man? He says old. I think he meant Olo because that's his phrase. He loves to say Olo.
Oh, I was like, he's calling me old. I was like, oh.
You're old. I'm older than you. I'm pretty sure that would be directed.
I just turned 24. Just.
Look at that. I just turned 25. So I'm like just a little bit above you. What month?
October 21st.
Dude, October 20th.
Let's go.
That's awesome.
You're 1 year and 1 day older than me.
Yeah, exactly. That's hilarious. View with Drew says, good news. My Blu-ray copy of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 came 2 days ago, 1 day ahead of its official 31st release date. It's not a topic tonight. How disappointed is it that Mission Impossible got pushed to 2025?
It's crazy because, like, I kind of felt it coming because, like, all these big movies are getting delayed. But the thing was, they were like, oh, yeah, also, we're changing the title. So I'm like, wait. But you called that part 1. Now my OCD. No, don't do that.
Yeah, I have no idea why they're changing the title. I mean, maybe they feel like they'll get a better box office if people don't think it's a part 2 to a part 1, so they don't have to go and watch a whole movie before they come to the theater to watch this one. But I also feel like that's a little deceitful. So I'm a little bit like on the fence there.
At least it didn't end on a literal cliffhanger like some movies this year, to where, like, I'm not like clawing my eyes out like, no, but like I'm deep down like, dang, like I'm just a year farther out now. When that movie comes out, I should be graduated from college. That's the part that's getting in my head. Ugh.
Yeah. Oh man. I remember with Infinity War, that's how I was. By the time Infinity War comes out, I'm gonna be like a year out of high school, and that was so weird.
Ooh.
Old Maddie's in here. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining us tonight. He says, love this channel. Just saw Open Bar with the Critical Drinker. They were saying Iron Man and Captain America will be rebooted, which will be the canary in the coal mine for Marvel. It's about done. Which will be the canary in the coal mine. Okay. It's about done. Is Marvel done? Is that what he's asking, I think?
I guess.
I think it's a little premature to say Marvel is done because their box office is still really good. I mean, they've had a couple ones that have, like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumanium. I mean, 476 million, I think, was its total, which for Marvel standards is a little low. But other than that, they've still been killing it. At least in the box office, maybe not quality-wise all the time. But honestly, when I look back at Marvel, when people say like the Marvel Cinematic Universe is done, there's really only a couple projects that I was like disappointed with. Like I've enjoyed a lot that they've still been putting out. Like Secret Invasion, I enjoyed until the end. That was a dud. especially
Okay.
at the end. But I'm loving season 2 of Loki. I loved Miss Marvel. I loved Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I really really liked Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. The Marvels looks fun. I even like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. There's not. I think the only thing that I would say that's been like a big disappointment was She-Hulk for me. How have you been feeling about Marvel at this point?
Um, I'm definitely not as high as you would be. I agree with She-Hulk. I thought She-Hulk was just not very good, in my opinion at least. I just didn't find it funny. I thought the Daredevil character felt more like a side comedic boyfriend for her, and I was like, that's not the Daredevil I know. Obviously, the topic tonight, we'll get more into that.
Yeah.
But I thought Wakanda Forever was very good. I kind of think that movie is being forgotten because like everyone's all like, oh, Marvel, blah blah blah, but everyone kind of forgot that Wakanda Forever is like low key awesome if you ask me. But Secret Invasion, the thing, this is how I know, like, I didn't like the show at all. I did my review. I thought it was just so not what it could have been. But how I know it's getting bad is my mom is literally not wanting to watch the show anymore. Like, she doesn't
Yeah.
care anymore. And my mom loves the Marvel movies. And when she's starting to stop watching movies, like, or some of the movies, it makes me sad. But she loved Guardians. Guardians 3 is one of the best movies of the year. I still think so. I got to put up there. I don't know if you know. I'm not a big fan of Quantum Mania. I think I would say it's one of the worst of the year. Oh, I'm sorry, but I just
No, that's fine, man. I'm not gonna argue with anybody who didn't like it. It just really tickled my sci-fi fantasy bone. Like I loved Modoc. I don't care what anyone says. Modoc for life. I loved him. I really really enjoyed that story arc.
I think my big issue with the movie, I don't want to get too deep into it. All I'm gonna say is I thought it was just a soulless, pointless movie. That's all I'm gonna say. But
Yeah.
I agree with you. Season 2 of Loki, it's like it's brought me back to like, oh, this multiverse, what they could do, da, 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 and like it's getting my thoughts. When I start theorizing again, I'm like, oh, it gets me all excited. And then I don't know if you saw, like, there was like a ad today about or not Miss Marvel, the Marvels. Is it Marvels or is it Marvel? The Marvels.
I've
What
just been
is
saying
it?
the Marvels.
Okay, the Marvels. I saw that like they were teasing like multiverse stuff in the commercial. I was like, okay, stop showing me stuff. Please just show me the movie. It comes out next Friday. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I think I agree with you. I don't think it's too early to say Marvel's dead, but I definitely am on the side of like I need something right now to like win me back.
Yeah, I will say that even though I've been enjoying a lot of Marvel stuff, and I'm definitely still on the train of fandom, they do need to switch things up. They do need to find their direction again because they are losing a lot of people with this multiverse. And if they're gonna let this go for another phase, because it's supposed to be 4, 5, and 6 is the multiverse saga. If they're
Oh,
really gonna put out another batch of movies that's this like, I think the multiverse saga has to end in phase 5. Honestly, I don't even know if Avengers: King Dynasty and Secret Wars should happen. I feel like they need to ditch this multiverse and they
ooh,
need to get back to just focusing on characters, bringing in new characters. You know what? Actually, I'm going to save this for later because this goes into some of our topics. So I'm going to save this for later.
cool.
Michael Anthony says, "What's one movie that is insanely popular that is mostly loved by everyone and critics alike, but no matter how many times you try watching it, you just can't get into it?" Do you have one that pops into mind?
What is one movie that is insanely popular that is mostly loved and critics alike? Hmm, that's hard because I'm trying to
It
think of a
is a hard
movie.
one.
Because like recently, like fandom, people love Five Nights. I thought it was trash, but the critics hated it, so I can't say that one.
Oh, you know what? I did not love Turning Red.
Oh, I
And a
thought it was cute.
lot of people love Turning Red. That's got a very good critic score and audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. And I just, it was fine. I wasn't really into it.
What's the critic score for the new Indiana Jones? Because I thought that was so disappointing. Is that high?
I think
Is that
it's low. I think that came
dang
out at
it.
like 53 or
It's
something. But
I'm trying to think of something critics and fans love, but I just can't think of that right now.
what'd you think of The Last Jedi?
Like,
That's like the one I'll throw out because it's got like very high scores, but so many people do not like it.
I think it's so fine. Like it's so well made and directed, but I just like
Yeah.
it felt like a movie that like, hey, here's one director's idea. Hey, here's one director's idea. Oh, and this third one, so we're sorry, fans. Here you go. Like it's if it wasn't a trilogy, if it was Last Jedi was a solo movie, let's just say that, then yes, I would say it's a good movie, but it's a sequel to The Force Awakens, and I think it's fine. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm
Well,
trying to think of my one.
if one pops in your mind, just blurt it out. Don't worry about it. But I'm with you on the Indiana Jones being disappointed, man. I was right there with you.
Oh yeah.
Michael Entity says, "What's a movie that that was received negatively by both critics and audiences, but you yourself saw something special in it?" That's another
Ooh.
good one.
Ooh, well, I'm literally going through this past year. I'm trying to think of everything.
I always just go by Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey because that's got a pretty low critic score, and I love that movie. I freaking love Bill and Ted, and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey is the best of the trilogy. I don't even care what anyone says. I love that film.
Okay, so to say a movie that is negative and that I like, well, you know what? Since I just reviewed it, I don't care. The live action Scooby Doo movie. I don't care. People
That's a
people
good
crap on that
one.
movie. I love that movie. I love it. Does Chicken Run have a bad score? I have no idea. I love Chicken Run.
I've never looked at the Rotten Tomatoes for Chicken Run, so I
Tonight's
have
the
no
night.
idea. Tonight's the
But
night.
tonight's the night. I'm trying to think of a bad movie. Okay. My mom and dad were watching it earlier. My mom and dad really love A Million Ways Die in the West. It's a Seth MacFarlane movie. I find it
Right.
funny. I find it funny, but I know for a fact that movie's got like horrible reviews. So I'm gonna say that one. But to say a
That's a good
movie
one to go.
with good reviews that I didn't like, I'm gonna go with this year because everyone loves new movies. Either the Haunted Mansion one or Asteroid City. Both those movies that I thought are trash.
Did Haunted Mansion get good reviews?
It got like middle of the road reviews. Listen, this is a hard question on the
It
spot.
is a hard question. It is. No, I was just wondering because I myself also found that movie kind of like, fine. It wasn't like that great.
Okay, here's another quick one. A movie that's bad that I like. I enjoy the 2016 Suicide Squad.
There you go. That's a good one.
I
That's a
enjoy
really
it.
good one.
It's not a good movie, but I enjoy it.
Perfect. Toxicator51 says tomorrow he's going to do his top 10 movie hot takes. That's awesome, dude. Looking forward to that. Zach Goller is saying, look at the one and only Jacob Hubbard.
I
And
appreciate you, Mr. Zach. Other Zach.
along with Sully Streams is saying, keep going, Jacob. Yep, I second that. Absolutely.
Thank you, Sully.
The View with Drew says, what's your most anticipated movie of November? Napoleon is my choice. I'm right there with you. I'm looking forward to Napoleon quite a bit.
I have a list of all my reviews I have to do in November. Let me make sure this movie's coming out in November before I say it. Technically it says December 1st. I would, okay, let me go in November. Okay, this sounds really stupid, but I kind of low key really want to watch Good Burger 2.
Good Burger always finds a way to find it onto my channel.
Listen, man, obviously
I'm happy for you.
the answer I want to say is like The Killer from David Fincher. That comes out on Netflix this month. But like I grew up with Good Burger, man, and I saw the trailer the other day. It popped up, and I was like, this looks so fun, stupid, with a lot of cameos. I want to watch it, and I will be reviewing that movie.
Nice. You see, I just missed the Good Burger train. I did not. It's not nostalgic for me. I watched it too late in life. I was too old, and I just like, even though it's basically a live action SpongeBob movie, I just could not get into it.
I get it. It's if you didn't grow up with Good Burger and you watch that movie today, a lot of people are gonna say it's real bad. Honestly.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm happy for everybody who's looking forward to Good Burger too.
I also want to watch Napoleon. I mean, that looks great.
Perfect. If this video gets 100 likes, I'll do a Good Burger watch along. How about that?
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Toxic Gamer 331 says, I think they're going to do a Ghost Grabber for Black Phone 2. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We'll talk a little bit more about that in topic 2, but I don't know how I feel about that. I'll just say that for now. The View with Drew is saying, just shared this stream on my channel. Well, thank you very much, Drew. That was very, very nice of you. I appreciate that. Toxic Gamer 331 says, are you guys seeing the Thanksgiving horror movie coming out on the 17th this month? It looks like a fun little B movie slasher. I don't think you're gonna find me there.
You'll find me right there, right before. I'm probably gonna watch that before I see the new Hunger Games comes out the same day, honestly, because I I want to see it because like Eli Roth, he's a hit or miss. So I'm hoping for a hit, and I know a good friend of mine, Mr. Ponto, is very much looking forward to Thanksgiving. So for his own sake, yes, Luke, I want to see Thanksgiving.
Perfect. I doubt my theater's even going to take that movie, and I'm probably not going to see it. What?
Really?
Yeah, my theater, it's got to be like a. I mean, I was surprised we got Killers of the Flower Moon. To be honest with you, it's got to be like a big blockbuster. Like they really only pick those, and then a lot of the small like. I'm crossing my fingers we get the holdovers. I'm really not confident we're gonna get the holdovers. There is an art house, not an art house, but like a more of an indie theater that's around my area as well. But they don't start playing those kind of movies till like a couple weeks or months after that they've already come out. So I'm hoping to see. I know that this wasn't the question, but I'm hoping to see holdovers. But yeah, my theater is pretty picky with what they take. But do you have an AMC near you?
Okay, so I have an AMC about an hour away from me. In my area where I live, I have like 3 different Regals.
Oh wow.
So
So
yeah.
I see that you put out like early reviews for movies sometimes. Do you go like press screenings or how does that work for you over there?
Okay, so recently, so with school being a very big important thing right now for me, I have not gone to a press screening since it might have been Oppenheimer. Or yeah, it might have been. So but recently, okay, so Regal does a mystery movie thing where like you get a ticket, you buy a ticket for a mystery movie. All you know is the rating and a fake runtime. And so like this Monday, November 6th, it's coming up. You walk into the theater, you sit down with a paid audience, regular audience members, and you just watch the previews. And once the movie starts, you figure out what it is. So like recently, I've been doing that just more often. And so
Oh.
like I saw the holdovers on Sunday because Regal had like some like
You've
early
seen it?
access. Yes, I have seen the holdovers.
Dude, is it good?
It is going to warm your heart.
Ah, yes. Yes, that's
To
what I needed to
to
hear.
to warm your heart. It definitely is like sad moments, but it's like a good feeling sad. So like it again, no spoilers. It's a story about a man and a young man growing up together basically in the winter time. So it's a perfect holiday movie, dramatic movie. It warmed my heart. Like I was like, this movie is gonna be like one of those cozy movies you watch. I think so.
Oh man, dude, I'm so happy to hear that. That makes me so happy. I really hope my theater gets it. But yeah, anyways, going on with the view with Drew, he says my Halloween was great. I was at a Halloween dance and I danced to the whip nay nay. That brings me back. In my Wolverine costume. That
Yeah.
is amazing. Do you have video? Please tell me you have video. I would love to
Which
see that.
which Wolverine costume are we talking? Are we talking like OG 90s? Are we doing like the new one? What we doing? What kind of costume? Which one?
It's a very good question. All right, guys, we are going to take just a quick break from the comments and questions so that we can talk about topic number one. And
Yay.
topic number one, guys, is going to be this. So, I mean, I don't know about you, Jacob, but
Ooh.
one of, if not the most anticipated movie of my lifetime is Deadpool 3. I mean, I've enjoyed the first 2 Deadpools quite a bit. I personally like the second one more than I like the first one. I think I'm in the minority with that. But my hype went real high with Deadpool when they got into the MCU, when they brought back Wolverine, Sean Levy as director. They're playing with the multiverse with fun cameos, some of which have already been confirmed. I am really, 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 really itching to see this movie. And we got the unfortunate news when the writer strike and then the actor strike happened. They had to shut down production, and they were halfway through filming this thing. We were getting set photos. They were looking amazing, and they just cut it. They just had to stop cold turkey. And the question has been now with the actor strike and all that stuff going on, like when is it going to resume? Well, even though the actor strike has not concluded yet, they're pretty hopeful over at Marvel that they can get this thing back up and running by January. So here's what they had to say over at comicbookmovie.com. The SAG is intended. Oh, after its intended release date was recently pulled amid the SAG-AFTRA strike, Deadpool 3 receives an encouraging filming update as talks to end the actor's work stoppage makes progress. According to Deadline, the anticipated Deadpool 3 now looks to be resumed shooting in January 2024. The upcoming Marvel Cinematic Universe blockbuster is around 50% complete, all but confirming the movie won't make its original premiere date in May 2024, despite Marvel Studios having yet to make an official announcement on any shifts. Based on its current timeline, Deadpool 3 could be completed as early as March 2024 before it enters post production. Now, this sounds very promising until you put into the factor that the actors strike has to conclude before this actually happens. So there's a lot of factors here that make this possibility possible. So my question, I'll throw it to you, Jacob. How do you feel about the hope of this actor strike ending by the time that they can shoot this in January? Do you think they're going to be able to shoot this in January? And if they do, what's the earliest time that you think Deadpool 3 could actually come out? Because as it says in that article, the May slot for next year is completely out of the question. I think they've already moved Captain America Brave New World in that slot anyways. So I'll throw those questions to you, man. What do you think about this news?
Okay, so to start it off, yes, I think I've said this before on live streams. I've mentioned it before. Out of every Marvel project they've announced, Deadpool 3 is not even a question. I want to see the most of. Like, as soon as they announced Hugh Jackman is coming back, I instantly was like, oh, I'm so excited. But I was like, wait a minute, Logan was so good, but oh, he's
Yeah.
gonna be so cool. And then they showed the pictures. I was like, oh my god, he's in the original suit. So all the hype was there. Yes, at this current moment, the new Captain America has taken its May 3rd, I believe it's May 3rd spot. So, I mean, every day I go on Twitter and I refresh every type of movie news page to see what's happening with a strike. And today, once again, I do the same thing. And they said a deal is near. There's things that be worked out. So,
Mhm.
if that is true, let's just go ahead and let's just knock on wood. Let's just say that strike ends in the next 2 weeks. Let's say that. Let's go. Let's be nice. Let's not say tomorrow. Let's hope, but let's just say it ends in the next 2 weeks. They could start production on that movie in January, and I would say if they could finish by March, depending on what they got to do with post production. I mean, it's a Marvel movie, so it's gonna be a lot of like stuff. I mean, the movie would have to be a Christmas release, wouldn't it? Or like an early 2025, I would think, because it's just like that's
Yeah.
a big movie. But I mean, I have hope in the Marvel workings, even though after that article I read today, it definitely didn't help. I will say I will say Deadpool 3 has a shot to be late 2024. If not, they'll make it a spring 2025 if I had to make a prediction. But again, the strike's not over. So right now, I mean, we're talking about like ifs, but the strike's not over. So there's not much we can really do at this moment unless right now they're like, the strike's over.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too, right? Is because I'm a little bit more pessimistic than you are. I do think it's going to be 2025, and I think there's a couple reasons. I think when it comes to the actor strike, I'm really hoping that it's going to end this week. And the studios actually came out recently. The recent word was they want to get it done this week or they're done talking. Because if they don't get it done by the end of this week, if they do not figure out something, there's no point in talking anymore because they've lost the TV season. So that's where the studios are at right now, is that they want to get this figured out so they can have their television season. If they missed out on their television season, they're just going to wait till next year. So that's going to be a big thing for Deadpool if that is to happen. And I don't know how positive I feel about the right or the actor strike right now. I feel like there's a lot of talk about like, oh yeah, they met, but now they're skipping this day, and then they're coming back again and skipping. It just doesn't feel like much is actually going forward. Now I could be wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully this clip is dated by tomorrow. But
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at, right? And then when you talk about the January slot, now, people were probably asking, like, why exactly are they saying this? Why are they saying that they're going to shoot in January if they don't even know if they can shoot in January? Well, I was listening to some like insiders and reading some articles and stuff like that. And after the strike is over, it's not just going to be like, all right, the next day we're just going back to the same soundstage we were 6 months ago. Like there's going to be a lot of production companies trying to do everything at the same time that all these other production companies are trying to do things. So they got to lock in their slots. They got to lock in their locations and using this soundstage and using this and that. So obviously they've locked in these stuff for January. But if they miss this January window, that stuff is going to be harder again to lock down because everybody is going to be trying to lock down their stuff and get their stuff shooting and rolling again. Also, with the post production, they said to begin in March 2024. The studios are also very particular of where they place movies, when the best time to drop this in theaters would be. I don't know if Deadpool is a Christmas time movie. I don't know if that because in the past it's been summer. It's been February,
February and
right?
May.
Yeah, February and May, right? So I feel like they're probably going to want to hit that window again. And if they're not going to get to post production until March 2024, I feel like they're just going to wait until the next year to get those slots back. What do you think about that?
Well, it also depends if you look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because this movie is 100% going to be a huge reason why we see the X-Men, we see all these people come into the universe. So Marvel themselves, they have to figure out where to place this movie because, like, obviously right now they're not in the best spot. So they want this movie because everyone wants to see Deadpool and Hugh Jackman join the Marvel Universe. So they want this movie. They want it going because they need this movie because this is the movie that I bet you it will get $1 billion at box office. Even though it's rated R, this will be $1 billion movie. But I agree with you, man. I just, if you think about it, March and then it's May. So then you got new Captain America coming out. And so you have all summer and then it's it's a big movie. So you got to do all that kind of stuff, edit and all that. And then you got promotion. Yeah, I'm going to go 2025, honestly, because they could do Christmas. They could do a whole advertisement of Deadpool at Christmas, kind of do. I could totally see it, but I agree with
you.
you.
It'd be amazing.
Oh yeah, especially because who knows? This movie might be a Christmas movie, just like Die Hard. Anyways, so if we go, if we go into thinking of how a movie's made on a big movie, I think you are so right. I think 2025 at best, especially where they're placing this in the Marvel universe. Because when does Secret War? Is Secret Wars 2026 or what is that?
At this point, it's 2027.
Oh, never mind then. Okay, well, yeah, Deadpool 3. I'm gonna say Deadpool 3 is 2025. I'm gonna say it. I don't want to. I hope it's 2024, but I also don't want them to rush it. Don't rush this movie, please. I don't want to hear another article of we couldn't get the CGI done. Yeah, I don't want to hear that. I want to go positive with Marvel. I want to hear good things. So take your time. I'm not in a rush to see this movie. I want to see it. Who doesn't want to see this movie? It's an R-rated MCU movie. Come on.
Yeah, and it just sucks. The salt is on the wound even more with the fact that we were just 6 months away from seeing this at one point. 6 months! And now it's just moved seemingly indefinitely. But what do you guys think of this? When do you guys think Deadpool 3 is going to come out? Do you think it's actually going to hit that January shoot day? Or do you think it's going to be a little later than that? Comment down below and let us know. All right, guys. And with that down and out of the way, we'll go back and take some more of your comments and questions before we hit to the next topic. But before we get to that topic, since we have a couple more of you guys in here watching the show now, we are giving away Blue Beetle, a digital copy code of Blue Beetle to one U.S. resident. It only works in the USA. Don't shoot me. I didn't make the rules. How are you going to get this copy of this code that I'm looking at? You guys can't see it, but I'm looking at it. It's a beautiful code. All right. So how are you guys going to get this? Well, here's how this works, guys. I'm putting up this website right here. Go to this website. Go to wb.com/redeem movie. That's wb.com/redeem movie. Keep that website up for the remainder of the show because I'm going to be dropping that code at any moment, guys. And you're not going to know when I'm going to drop it. You ready? Oh, I just dropped it, but you can't see it because I didn't drop it on here yet. So keep that website up, and you might just win this Blue Beetle code. All right, guys. With that, let's go on and take the rest, or not the rest, but take a couple more of your comments and questions. So where did we leave off? We left off right here with Travis Mitchell. What's going on, Travis? Thanks for joining us tonight, my friend.
Hi, Travis.
How's it going, everyone? I'm doing pretty well. How are you doing, Jacob?
It's cold outside, so I got a little sweater going today. It's November 1st, and the weather said we're going cold, so it's a little chilly here in South Carolina.
There you go. Talk to Gamer 331 says, I've never watched Friends or anything Matthew Perry in it, but rest in peace. Yeah, I mean, well, hey, that's the beautiful thing about artists leaving behind their art is that you have a lifetime to discover the craft that he left behind. Travis Mitchell's responded to someone in the chat. Toxic with 51 says, I've never watched Friends or anything with Matthew Perry, but rest in peace. Yep, absolutely, man. I think that's a beautifully well said. Zach Goller says, I think an underrated Chandler big moment would be him dressing as the Pink Bunny for Halloween, and then Joey dressing up as Joey dressing up as Chandler is iconic in that Halloween episode, as well as when he puts on all of his clothes. Look at me, I'm Chandler. Could I be wearing any more clothes? That is two iconic moments in Friends. I love it. I love that you brought that up, Zach. Thank you. Travis Mitchell says, I also haven't seen a single episode of Friends. I just know there's an episode with a pug. A episode with a pug. I guess so. I don't. There's a dog show at one point.
You're asking the wrong person. My friend was in New York, and all I know is there's like a famous scene with a couch. That's all I know.
Famous scene. It's like the central location. It's like the setting of the entire show.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I've not seen an episode. I've never seen one episode. I'm sorry.
I will say this, even as a fanatic Friends fan, the first season's feeling a little bit dated when you watch it back again. It feels very 90s. And there's some references and stuff that may not hit like they did back in the day. So I still think it's a show that really holds up, especially when you get into like season 2. But the first season, I can admit, even as a big fan of the show, it's getting a little bit dated. Zach Goller's saying, I need a Red Dead Redemption TV show. That seems like a very popular choice.
Depending, I played both games. Depending on what story you're looking at, Mr. Goller, I would say I agree with that, but depending on the story.
Perfect. DJ Police Wolf is saying, hello there. Well, hello, DJ Police.
Hello,
Wolf.
Mr. Police Officer.
I can't tell if that's supposed to be Ewan McGregor's hello there. Or can you do a Ewan McGregor impression as Obi-Wan? Because I suck, man.
Hello there. Oh, my God.
Well, that was more that was more Alec Guinness, but I'll take it, man. I like that. The Police Wolf is saying that he's here, and I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. And he says, this looks very impressive. Oh, well, thank you. I'm assuming you're talking about the stream, so I appreciate that. Nathan's Random Movies, what's going on, Nathan? Thanks for joining us. He says, hi, Zach. Have you seen Five Nights at Freddy's? The movie's okay, but my enjoyment was elevated by the audience that reacted like they watched No Way Home, and there has been large discussions about it at my high school. Well, I will unfortunately have to tell you that I have not watched it. Didn't make it out to the theater this weekend, and I don't have Peacock, and I don't think there's any other way for me to watch it, and I don't want to pirate it because I just don't do that. So Jacob, I think you've seen, I think I saw your review for it, for Five Nights at Freddy's.
I have, and I'm held to the torch right now, Zach. Everyone's going at me. I thought it was horrible. I thought it was one of the worst movies I've seen this year, but after the movie ended, when I said that to my friends who played the games, they're like, you don't know the lore. I'm like, you're right. I know nothing. I just thought you sit at a desk and you press a button to close doors. And apparently there's so much more. And yeah, I'm at the stakes right now. People will hate me for that. But hey, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. And I'm glad that you had a good audience with you, because I had to get police involved in my auditorium.
And now we need the story, Jacob. You can't just say that and not tell us the story.
Okay, so here we go. I hope there's a few people in this stream that I hope are listening. Mr. Goller and Mr. Ponto, you guys want to hear this. So basically, this is what happened. I went with a group of friends to see Five Nights at Freddy's. I had a chance to see it early. My friend was like, listen, you go to early screenings all the time. I want to see your first reaction. I was like, all right, for you, my guy, I will go with you to a regular Friday night, 9:30. So that's what we did. We were in the middle of the auditorium. Theater is packed. I mean, people are dressing up with costumes on, everything, and it seemed like everyone was so excited. I was like, all right, this is gonna be cool. The top of the row, so I'm in the middle of the auditorium. The people at the very top, 15 teenagers. It's the trailers. The trailers are on, and they're screaming, they're laughing. One guy burped and said, oh, sorry, everybody, saying that loudly. I'm like, dude, you're not funny. I want to kill you. And then the lights go down and the Universal starts, and the opening scene starts with a scary scene, and it's like in the Fazbear or whatever. The freaking people were like, just shut the door, press B, press A, ha 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 ha. And then like they're making like, oh
Mm.
yeah, noises. And I was like, dude, please, please, please. And everyone in my theater is like saying, shut the up, like shut up. And
Oh,
they're like,
man.
and so listen, I do not get up. I do not get up to pee. I don't get up to do anything. I looked to my friend, I
Ever?
said, ever. I can't. I can't miss the movie. I hate it. It makes me so mad to miss the movie. I know it's weird. I hold in my pee. I know. Um, so my friend next to me, I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. I might have to watch this on Peacock. And he was like, honestly, yeah. I stood up. I pulled a Karen. I walked into the hallway. I saw the first worker. I said, excuse me. And I ran to him. I was like, I am about to leave auditorium. Da, 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 da. Can you please come get them? So I go back to the door. I sit there. I wait for the manager to walk up. The manager brought 4 police officers.
Oh my
4.
word.
And I was like, can y'all like wait 1 second while I go in so I don't look the person that tattletaled? And so they did not do that. I walked in, they're right behind me. I was like, dang it. And my friends are like laughing at me like, oh my God, he brought police. They kicked all those teenagers out. And I'm sitting there doing this, like, don't look at me, don't look at me. And all those teenagers are like, this little punk. I'm like, you suck. Go out of the theater. But everyone was like happy I did it. They all looked at me. I was like, I'm so happy you're leaving, but stop looking at me.
And you spared them from watching a crappy movie from the sounds of it.
I know, right? So like I went home and I was like, I went on Peacock and I watched the scene I missed, and I was like, I didn't miss anything. But yeah, I was a Karen. You guys can call me out. I got police on teenagers. But listen, dude, they were ruining the movie. I couldn't hear like 10 minutes of the movie. I was like, dude, I can't do this.
Yeah, no, I mean I don't blame you for that, man. I just like am impressed that they brought the cops in, dude, because my theater here is so lax. I feel like if I went out to go get one of the teenagers, they wouldn't even look up from their phone long enough to listen to what I had to say about people disrupting in the auditorium. No one knows where I am, so it's okay. But like the theater employees at my theater, man, they're all young kids, and they could not give a crap about what anyone does. I have someone who is over the age of 19 that I go to the movies with sometimes, and they'll buy a child's ticket just to get the cheaper price because they just don't care. They don't look at the ticket or anything.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but it's a nice theater. I will say that. I've never had a bad experience at that theater. So, it's the only one in town, so that's also that's also good. But yeah, no, I haven't seen Five Nights at Freddy's. Speaking of which, Toxic Gamer 331 says I would probably want Five Nights at Freddy's too, even though the first one came out, and I think it's guaranteed to have a sequel either way because it's making a nice amount of money. 80 million domestically on its opening weekend on a $25 million budget is not just a nice amount of money. That is a amazing crapload amount of money. Blumhouse, man, they know how to turn a dime. It's
I
crazy.
said in my review, I said I did not like this movie. I would like to see a sequel. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. It's probably gonna get a sequel, especially with those numbers.
Oh, guaranteed.
DJ Police Wolf comes back and says, "Hey Zach, I'm glad I can make it to your live. I'm glad to have you here, man. Thank you for joining us." Travis Mitchell is 24 as well. Look at that.
We're in our mid-20s.
Isn't it weird? Oh, dude, I'm like right there in the middle. I'm like,
You right there.
oh, it's weird. I know how fast 5 years goes, and I'm not ready. DJ Police Wolf says I've been updating my channel after Halloween. Nice. Doing some
Nice.
nice housekeeping. We got Noah Kaser in here. What's going on, Noah? Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Noah.
What's up, everybody? We got Toxic Gamer 331 in there also saying the Five Nights at Freddy's movie I thought was good. As someone who has played the games, I left happy. It does have some flaws though, but I really enjoyed it. Though I gave it a toxic goodness a B+. I gave it a toxic B+. All right, fair enough, dude. As long as you enjoyed it, like that's all that matters. As long as you enjoyed it. Travis Mitchell says between Fast 10, Dead Reckoning Part 1, Dune Part 1, so on, I fear next year will be the year of Part 2s that didn't happen.
Oh yeah.
That's so true? Yeah. Fast 11 has that been shot yet? What's the progress on that? Do you know?
I'm pretty sure even when Fast X came out, I don't think Fast X was ever scheduled for next year. I think it's 2024 Is it 2026? It might be 2025. It
Seriously, I have to
I
wait
don't
2 years to find out what
oh,
happened with that dam.
oh, no, you gotta wait too. I'm so sorry, Zach. You want me to hold your hand? Like, oh, whoa, oh no, Vin
Honestly,
Diesel.
honestly, until I read between Fast 10, I forgot Fast 10 came out this year. I forgot that I saw that movie.
Exactly. Exactly, Zach. You forgot your own cliff. You remembered the one thing, the cliffhanger. Did you remember all the
Yeah.
everything else in the movie?
I remember they fly out of the plane on like a jet, like the Jetsons or something.
Oh yeah, and that John Cena died.
Oh yeah, no, there's no way he did. I don't buy
No.
it at all. That's funny. DJ Police Wolf says I've seen Transformers: Rise of the Beast this summer. He went to the theater to see it. I saw that as well, and it was decent. I've never been a huge Transformers fan, but I had a decent time with it. I probably won't ever watch it again, to be honest with you, though. It didn't leave a lasting impression.
I'll say what you just said about Fast X is honestly what just came happened to me. I was like, oh yeah, that came out this year. I totally forgot that movie came out. Totally forgot.
That's never a good sign. Toxic 351 says, I agree. I think Secret Invasion is a great show until the last episode, which was terrible. I don't know if I would say it was a great. I don't know if I'd go as far as say it was a great show, but I was enjoying it. I was intrigued. I liked the characters. I loved Samuel L. Jackson's performance. But yeah, where it led off is just, and you know what? I don't care what that director says. Rhodey has not been a Skrull since Civil War. That's just no. No. That's no.
I don't
Um,
want that. I don't want that.
I don't think that. Oh, you know what? Okay, so I've been listening. I was gonna say reading, but I haven't been reading. I've been read too. The MCU reign of Marvel Studios on Audible while I've been at work. It's 16 hours long. But it's really detailed, and it's really good because it's definitely not biased. Like they show the dark stuff or maybe not dark, but like the more like sleazy, not painted in a good light Marvel stuff. And then they also show like, the praise and the like giving the flowers to Marvel that they deserve. But one thing that the book really does for me is it demystifies this whole thing of like Marvel has their plan all figured out. And it's not to the point that they never had a plan, but it's more so Marvel is the masters of pivoting. Because throughout the book, they talk about how this happened, which made them think of this. So then they changed to do this. Or this happened in this movie where they realized, oh, because that happened in that movie, we can now do this in
Ooh.
this movie. So it's a really interesting read if you guys are fans of the Marvel universe, and not just like just comic book movies in general, because it goes into like some DC history and some stuff like that. It's very detailed, even on things that I've heard about before. It goes deeper into them. It was very fascinating to listen to.
That is
Um,
interesting.
it's really interesting. Yeah. You know, we almost got Spider-Man riding a T-Rex.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So Sony's Sinister Six movie, they talk about it in the book, was going to take place on the Savage Lands, which was going to allow Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man to ride a T-Rex.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. Yep. Travis Mitchell said, oh wait, actually, I think I missed this one. DJ Police Wolf says, yeah, She-Hulk was not very good. It was kind of cringe. It had cringy moments, to
It
be
did.
honest. Yeah. Travis Mitchell says, Quantumania, Eternals, Black Widow, and Shang-Chi all underperformed. Weirdly, Venom 2 grossed more than any of those. So I will say Venom 2 is coming off of Venom, which made $876 million. So I'm not too surprised that did pretty well. Shang-Chi was a new character and came out in pandemic type times, as well as Black Widow, which was also day and date on Disney Plus.
Yep.
So it was in theaters and you had to pay for it on Disney Plus. So that hurt it a little bit too. Eternals was in the pandemic as well. And Quantumania, I'll give you that one. That one underperformed. Do you think that's a fair evaluation?
Those are all fair evaluations. Good job,
All
Mr.
right.
Zach.
But that's a good point to be made, Travis. Toxic Gamer 331 says the only Disney Plus Marvel shows I didn't like was Miss Marvel and She-Hulk. I loved Miss Marvel, but hey, if it wasn't
Miss Marvel was cute. Miss Marvel was really cute.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see her in the Marvels. I think she's going to transfer to the big screen so well, and I loved it. Did you see the clip they released of Captain Marvel interacting with her family in the living room?
I try not to watch the clips. I do my
Yeah.
best. I
That's
try
fair.
not. I'll watch trailers, but I try not to watch when it gets close to the movie. When it's like 10, it's literally comes out next Friday. I don't care to watch the
Yeah.
clips, but yeah.
Usually I'm the same as you. I don't watch clips, but I will say this is how much I like The Family. When I saw that The Family was in the clip, I had to click on it. I really wanted to see the interaction, so
So
I'm
that
looking
tells
forward
me
to it.
that tells me this movie's really gonna pick up right where Miss Marvel left off, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that post credit scene is going to be. Did you see my theory on Twitter about what I think the Marvels is going to be?
Oh, I remember reading it. I don't remember like detail by detail. You was something about like this Captain Marvel isn't that one. Like there was something
I
about like
think I think the switching powers goes deeper. I think they're swapping universes because
okay.
there's that line in the TV spot recently where Monica Rambeau says there's another universe bleeding into ours.
Yep, I saw that.
So I think like WandaVision will be the main timeline. Ms. Marvel, I was trying to think back to the show. I don't think there's any real connections to these. Like there's stuff that's referenced like the end game and the battle with Thanos and stuff like that. But that could have been taken in another timeline and some minor details changed here and there that they could make Miss Marvel another universe. And then Captain Marvel, this might sound ridiculous, but her hair grew really fast. Because the last time we saw her, she had that uh, faux hawk going on. So
Okay.
I'm just saying, I mean, does hair grow that fast? Different Captain Marvel, potentially.
The one theory that I like about that is minor spoilers for Miss Marvel. So she is a mutant in Miss Marvel.
Yes,
So in this universe there are mutants. So maybe the universe is with X-Men mutants and Marvel I don't know, maybe. I don't I'm going
possibly.
we're going deep into theories, but I do like that theory of her hair. Like that's a good little point of like them jumping back and forth.
Because I'm pretty sure even in the Shang-Chi post-credit scenes when we see her, she has the short hair. I'm pretty sure. And I don't know what the timeline of years is, but that was something that kind of stuck out to me.
I think you're right because I'm the only reason I know that is because I worked at a movie theater when that movie came out, and so I remember always watching that mid-credit scene. I'm 90% sure she had short hair in that clip.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure too.
Yeah.
Toxic Gamer 331 says, I agree, Guardians 3 is one of the best of the year. Noah Kaser is saying, Jacob, answer my DM, man. Oh, you're ghosting someone. I'll be watching. In all seriousness, what movie that's coming out for the rest of the year can replace your number one? Mine would be Wonka, Leo and Scorsese's new movie yet. Haven't seen Leo and Scorsese's new movie yet, I think is what he means. Do you have a number one at the moment?
I would say so, but to first off, DM me where? On Twitter, Instagram, where? I'm so confused. I check Twitter every day. I don't see no ones next to my mail things. Anyways, in all seriousness, what movie comes out? We're playing. Right now, I hate. I like to go back in December and watch all my favorite movies. Then I'll make the list. But right now, I feel like I can say Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
I would say so.
I gotta watch that still, man. I gotta.
Oh yeah,
I
you had your
missed it,
car.
and
Your
I'm
car,
still
didn't
waiting
you?
for it to come out on physical. But I mean, I think it comes this month finally. So
November, yeah. Wait, didn't
yeah.
yeah,
So
you missed that and Barbie. Didn't you like you have a
and
tire
Barbie, yeah.
your
I
tire
was
popped or something?
on my way up to
Oh.
Barbenheimer, and my car broke down. In my pink shirt and everything, I waited outside
Oh
for the truck to come. I was
no.
just on the side of my road, just in my pink shirt. Um,
Oh.
yeah, unfortunate times, but it happened. So Anyways, my number one at the moment is still Across the Spider Verse. If there was going to be one that replaces my number one coming out, it could be Napoleon. It could be The Holdovers because I'm a sucker for those kind of movies. And I don't know if Wonka's gonna do it. Aquaman sure ain't gonna do it.
Heck no.
I don't see the Marvels doing it. I see the Marvels being fun, but not being in like a top 5 or 10. So yeah, maybe Napoleon, maybe the Holdovers. I'll give them the shout out.
I'm gonna go I'll say Napoleon because it looks really good, so that's a good shot. Um, I know this is an indie movie. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Saltburn. It looks really good.
Oh no, I haven't
Really
heard
good.
of that.
That looks really good. Oh, and also Good Burger 2.
Good Burger 2 is gonna be the movie of the year.
Movie of the year.
All right. Let's take a little break again from the comments and questions. We will return to those very shortly, but we got to get on to topic number 2. And topic number 2 is this, guys. So, um, There's a couple. Would you call these elevated horror films? Is that the term that you would use for the Black Phone and It Follows?
I would for sure say It Follows. Black Phone,
Yeah,
elevated for
a little
Black
more iffy.
Phone. It Follows for sure. I would definitely
Yeah,
yeah. But Black Phone, if wishy washy. But anyways, yeah, It Follows
yeah,
for sure.
fair enough. Fair enough. Well, anyways, Black Phone and It Follows are two horror movies that I've actually seen, so we can talk about this. Now, the Black Phone by Scott Derrickson. Um, Thank you to my buddy Luke Ponto for putting that on my radar.
We all knew
I
that was coming.
I really enjoyed that film. I really enjoyed my time watching that. I thought it had a great emotional core to the story. Ethan Hawke was fantastic. But he spoiler alerts for the Black Phone if you haven't watched the
Spoiler
Black
alert.
Phone. Yeah, he dies in the end. He dies in the end in a brilliant way. Kind of his own hand in a way. Great revenge scene. Then we got It Follows, which came out in 2014, which my
Yes.
friend, as a lot of the horror movies that I've seen happens, my friend showed me this at like 1 o'clock in the morning because he just needed me to watch this. And it was freaky. It was really, really, really freaky to me. This idea of this thing following you. I had never been more happy to be a virgin in my life.
Yes, sir.
Uh with this thing coming to follow you around, it was freaky. Anyways, these films have been announced now that they are getting sequels. This comes to us from IndieWire. IndieWire says, after The Black Phone just scored a sequel last week, yet another original horror movie is getting a follow-up. Neon's indie horror darling and a new cult classic, It Follows. Neon will begin production on They Follow. The fact that it says they really freaks me out. In 2024, with the original stars Micah Monroe set to return for the sequel exactly 10 years since the first film. David Robert Mitchell, who wrote and directed the original horror installment, is returning to write and direct the sequel. He's also a producer alongside the original film's producer David Kaplan, Eric Romanzomo, Rebecca Green, and Laura Smith. Additionally producing are Jake Weiner and Chris Bender of Good Fear Content. All right. So before we get into like the logistics of how are these sequels going to happen, because well, It Follows actually leaves it way more open ended than Black Phone does. So let's focus on
Yes.
Black Phone first, and then we'll go to It Follows. Because with the Black Phone, I feel like it was a really great contained solo movie. You know, like after that movie was finished, it finished in a way where I don't feel like I need to watch a follow up. You know, with Black Phone, I would almost relate it to Don't Breathe. I never did watch Don't Breathe 2. I don't really know anyone who's watched Don't Breathe 2, to be honest with you. But Don't Breathe, I thought was a really great contained horror film as well. And definitely was talked about a lot more than Don't Breathe 2. So when it comes to the Black Phone, with the way that this character ended off, with the way that Ethan Hawke's character went out, Jacob, I'll throw it to you, the writer and director in the room. How exactly do you think they're going to do the Black Phone? Do you see a way that they can do a sequel to this?
Okay. So I agree with everything you said. For the Black Phone to come out, was it last year? It was last year, wasn't it? Yeah.
I think it was 2022. Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely felt so self-contained, like one good little story, and then you kind of move on with it. So I think everyone's first thought is prequel. I think that's what everyone's first thought is. I don't know, like, okay, I'll say this: if they do if okay, they're doing a sequel, so it's gonna come out in 2025. If it's a sequel to where they're moving forward with these characters, I do not want to see a ghost Ethan Hawke be the one to answer the phone. I mean, it could be
Mhm.
interesting depending what they do, but that just doesn't sound like sequel worthy. So in my mind, it kind of has to be a prequel. But then again, do you want to get Ethan Hawke back? Do you want to do CGI makeup? You want to do makeup, make him look young? Do they want to do a younger Black Phone, maybe like show off his first kills, like kind of like that? I don't know where they could go unless they want to do Ethan Hawke is a ghost calling him and torture and ghosts kind of stuff. But whatever happens, the one thing that I want someone to tell me if this is true or not is Scott Derrickson coming back? That is the key to me. If he's coming back,
Mm.
if he's coming back, I will feel like, okay, because that first movie is not as good without his direction and Ethan Hawke's performance. So if Ethan Hawke's not in it because he's dead and Scott Derrickson's not there, then honestly I could care less about this movie. But if Scott Derrickson's there, I'm gonna feel okay. But yeah, I don't know. It's got to be a prequel. It's got to be right, right.
I
I
don't
mean,
know if that's mentioned in here. No, I don't think it was mentioned in this article that I pulled up. I don't know. I'd have to look more into that. But that's a really good point. If Scott Derrickson isn't involved, if Ethan Hawke isn't involved, then I'm kind of out. But
yeah,
it's interesting because both of your ideas that you bring up make sense, but they're also like, I don't know if I want that. Because when you go to the prequel route, I mean, there's definitely more you could explore with the origins and beginnings of this character, but do we really need that? I mean, he didn't seem like a character. Like, the fear of him is not just his physical presence and the mask and Ethan Hawke's performance. It's just the mystery, the unknowing of why this guy is doing what he's doing, and it just makes him creepier. It makes it freakier. It makes the whole concept in the movie freakier. When you go to him being a ghost, which this is funny because there's supernatural elements ingrained in the first Black Phone, with the kids calling through the phone and the ghost children showing up and essentially taking out Ethan Hawke's character. But the idea of him being a ghost, I don't know, it kind of pushes it into like almost to the point. It's no longer the verisimilitude of the first film where I can buy into it. And it also depends how they like, if he's just gonna be a ghost that like you can physically see wandering around. Like, I don't know if I really want to see that. I feel like they'd be making lore that's not necessary for a character that's just been mortal, you know? So that the Black Phone sequel is one that I will say I'm very, very on the fence of. I don't know if I'm excited for this.
to
Where would you
say
say you land with it?
to say okay, to give you a little context on the sequel, this is just me looking up anything. In June
Okay.
2022, Scott Derrickson said that while Joe Hill was protective of his story, the author has pitched him a wonderful idea for a sequel that he was open to directing if the first film was a success. The movie had a 16 to 18 million dollar budget and made 161 million. That's a success.
That's a
Okay.
success.
Hill said his inspiration to writing a sequel, Joe Hill being the son of Stephen King, who wrote the short story. Hill said
Right.
his inspiration to writing a sequel was based on the iconic imagery of the grabber's mask. That sounds like prequel. Has
Yeah,
to
it
be.
does. Or another way they could go with this that I don't know if you'd be up for. I don't even know if I'm up for. Legacy.
Okay.
Passing on the mask.
Okay.
A
So
new grabber.
I I I think what made the first one special is Ethan Hawke. So again, I gotta wait to see if that is the case, who's the grabber? Who we casting? So that's my first thought. But
Yeah.
if they wanted to do that, I mean, obviously he can't do it with his brother because spoiler alert, he kills his brother. But
Oh yeah.
man, I agree with you. The first one's so good. Why do we need a sequel? But hey, money talks, and this
Yeah.
movie made money.
And you know what? Some people might have said that about Alien. The first one was so good. Why do we need a sequel? And then James Cameron came and gave us Aliens. So anything could happen. Maybe the Black Phone 2 will surpass the original. I'll keep an open mind. Now, let's move on to It Follows, because this is brilliant.
Yes.
How this hasn't happened earlier, I don't understand.
Thank
How it
you.
took 10 years to get this sequel is this should have been on its like third or fourth installment at this point, I think, if you ask me. Because yeah, this movie freaked me out, but I can acknowledge this was a great concept, a great movie, and it's also an idea and a concept that allows them to go all over the world with it. Like this,
Yes.
like A Quiet Place is kind of starting to do that with their anthology, with like A Quiet Place Day One, and they're starting to expand that franchise. This is also how I could see this franchise going. So when it comes to They Follow, first of all, the plural, when the first one already freaked me out enough, that's going to be really fun to explore. So I want to hear from you, Matt, because you're way more of a horror guru than I am. What did you think of the first It Follows, and how are you feeling about these sequels?
It Follows is
Beautiful.
one of the best horror movies to come out in the last decade. it's up there with Hereditary, it's up there with Doctor Sleep. This is one of the best horror movies, and I'm so glad you've seen it, Zach. When I saw this news, but the best thing about this too is literally no one talked about it. It was like there was no mentions of a sequel. It was like poster. It was like, oh yeah, this comes out. It's like, wait, what? What? David Robert Mitchell is coming back. The main actress in the movie, she's coming back. It's a
Yep.
sequel. It's not a new person. They're doing a sequel, which makes me really intrigued because especially how that first one ends. Because spoiler alert, it's 10 years old. She had sex with the one guy, and then that guy had sex with another girl, and then they're walking down the street, and he thinks there's a ghost or it is following him. So if they continue with these characters, I am in. I agree with you though. Why is it taking so long to come out? But I don't care. I'm there. If anyone's ever seen if anyone's ever seen my Blu-ray collection videos, this first one is a perfect rainy day. You want to watch a spooky movie? It Follows is it's a classic, man. I love It Follows. So for them to do a sequel, oh,
Yeah, man. I think it's going to be prime for this idea. But what do you guys think of this? What do you guys think of the Black Phone 2? What do you guys think of They Follows? Do you think that these are sequels that are warranted? Do you think one's more warranted than the other? Comment down below and let us know all your thoughts and opinions about that, guys. We'd love to hear them. And with that said, let's head on back and check out what you guys are saying about this. All right. Let's see here. Where did we leave off? We left off with Noah. Yep. So we're on Travis Mitchell. Quantumania was enjoyable, and I thought the probability storm sequence was surprisingly emotional. I thought that was probably the best sequence in the movie. Was the probability storm. My issue with it was it had a more compelling reason in the trailer than it did in the movie. Do you remember? Do you remember the trailer when Kang's like, "I can get you back time" with Cassie, and it seemed like this really emotional like temptation for Scott because he missed 5 years of his life. But then in the movie, it was just like, "Get this for me, or I'll kill Cassie," and it was just like,
yes.
where did that magical piece from the trailer go? Yeah.
Man, that's what I'm telling you. That was my big issue because like they were setting this movie up so much for Kang, and then once you watch it, it just feels so soulless. Like it just feels like a setup movie. It feels like a movie that's a piece of the puzzle, and it's not really fitting in there because now with Kang being in, now it's kind of like, well, we kind of just had this movie happen. So like, yeah, I agree with Travis. The most enjoyable part of the movie would probably be that, and I would say when Kang is fighting Ant-Man. I thought that was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I wish that it had ended a bit more dramatically, but it was pretty
Ant-Man
cool.
dying, yeah.
DJ Police Wolf is saying he's glad he could make it. We're glad to have you here, man, once again. Travis Mitchell is saying, when you're putting out a sequel to Captain Marvel, that depends on the audience watching 3 full seasons of TV behind a paywall. You're going to lose the casual movie goer. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Not just one character, but 2 characters that are on 2 separate shows that are both like 6 episodes long that you got to watch. I've always thought that was a mistake. I've always thought that was going to be a big misstep of even when they first announced the shows. I knew my grandparents were going to stop watching. Like my grandparents used to go to every Marvel movie in the theater. They haven't been since the show started. When WandaVision came out, they started watching it. They couldn't get into it, and they haven't been to the theater since because they feel so behind on the Marvel stuff. So that's my go-to for an example of the casual movie goer. But yeah, absolutely. I think where would you think the Marvels is going to land in their box office overall, Jacob? Because with Captain Marvel making over $1 billion, and this technically being the sequel to that, I think it's going to have a pretty significant drop compared to those numbers. I think it's going to come in around 550, 600 million for its overall run.
Man, if I say anything, either I say positive, and they're like, "Oh, Marvel's paying you." If I say real negative, they're like, "Oh, you're a woman hater." No, I'm neither one. This is just my honest opinion. If you look at this movie and you look at where Marvel's at right now, I would say 380, 400 million. I say it makes less than
Wow, they're
I
going
say it make
low.
I bet it makes less than Ant-Man. I'm gonna say that because people, first off, like you said, there's already so much going into the movie, and there's people out there who hate Brie Larson for being Captain Marvel just for her. So
Mm.
like that alone will be a thing. I've always said this, like everyone all agrees with this. The first Captain Marvel is not even that great of a movie. It's fine. I think it made only $1 billion because it was literally in between Endgame and Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, no, I think that played a factor into it for sure, but I wouldn't go as far to say that's the only reason. I personally like Captain Marvel. I will say this: I would agree with you. I would agree with you 350 to 400 million if Dune hadn't moved,
Okay.
because that leaves because with the Marvels now you've got a 4 quadrant movie, for families and kids, and it's Marvel, and I think people are still excited to see Marvel in the. I mean, the marketing hasn't been great, so I will give you that. I think the marketing for this is going to hit it a little bit. I think that Miss Marvel might have some younger female fans that watch the show wanting to go see that. So I do think there will be a female audience for this movie that I think will be a little bit underestimated. And because Dune's now moved, it's kind of like, I mean, we have Aquaman 2 coming out in December, but it's kind of like one of the last big blockbuster uh, movies, action movies coming out for the year. So I feel like because it's now in an area where there's no other blockbusters surrounding it on its type of genre level, I think it might do better than some are expecting. But I also wouldn't be surprised if you're right, if it does come in at like 400 million. Oh, we got a super chat in here. I'm just gonna jump to that really quickly. We got a movie time minute jumping in here. My buddy DJ, a beloved channel member. Thank you for jumping in here, man. Thank you so much for the 4.99 super chat. That was very, very generous of you. He says, "Sorry, I'm late. You never have to apologize for being late, man. I'm just so thankful that you're here. You even bothered to click on our faces and join us. So all you have to say is, I'm here. You're welcome." He says, "I hope you've had a great stream. You're the man. Also, everyone in the chat, you can achieve your goals and succeed. I believe in you." Well, that's very inspirational and nice of you, DJ. And also, congratulations once again, man, on crossing the 200 subscriber mark. That's awesome. Very well deserved, man. And yeah, absolutely. And thank you again, man, for the generous support of our channel, man. You've been absolutely incredible, and I cannot thank you enough, man. So yeah, you're amazing. Let's see here. Where did we leave off? We left off with yeah, okay, we left off here. So Talking Gamer 331 says, "I didn't like Turning Red at all." I mean, I wouldn't say I didn't like it at all, but I was checking my phone a couple times during a lot of the I don't it's honestly I didn't feel like a movie that was made for me. It felt like it was for the next generation of Pixar fans in some ways, which doesn't take away from the fact that like Jacob, you really liked it. I think you said you really liked it.
I thought it was really cute. Like
Yeah.
I think I watched it the one time on Disney Plus. It was a Disney Plus only, wasn't it?
Yeah, they didn't put that in theaters. They put it straight to Disney Plus.
So I bought it on 4K, but I have not watched it once since 4K. I've only watched it on Disney Plus that one time. But I thought it was good. Like I mean, I'm not gonna watch that over like the classics, but it was fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. I just kind of felt yeah, it was for the younger generation that are now watching Pixar. Oh, I mean, I was watching mine on VHS. They're watching it on Disney Plus. They're gonna grow up, and I think this is gonna be like one of their favorite movies. This is gonna be very nostalgic, lovable, like the way that I feel about like Monsters Inc. I think they're gonna feel about Turning Red. So
Exactly.
I'm
That's a
happy
good
about
point.
that. Travis Mitchell says The Last Jedi is my 4th favorite Star Wars movie. Nice, dude. I have it much lower than that, but I like that you like it that much, man. That's amazing. DJ Police Wolf says I sort of liked Turning Red. It was kind of funny. I think I got a chuckle or two out of it at some point. I had a theory. It was kind of a stupid theory, but it was also kind of fun. That the Turning Red is in the Incredibles universe because they have the superpowers of pandas and they can grow into these giant pandas. And I was just like, oh, superheroes in that world, they're kind of superhero like, and it kind of even ends in like a big superhero team up, take down the bad guy battle. I was waiting for Frozone to show up at one point,
You're such a Marvel fan, all these theories, and then Iron Man's gonna show up with Tony Stark being Robert Downey Jr. It's gonna be a whole crossover universe.
It's Disney. They can do it. They have
can,
all the IP.
And we might get Darth Vader at some point.
Mando's gonna show up. Yeah, it's gonna be a mega crossover one day. TJ Police Wolf says, any opinions on Halloween Ends? I heard it wasn't pretty good. I didn't. I haven't bothered to watch it. Did you watch it, Jacob?
I did. I'm actually one of the rare people that think it was not as bad as it was. It got tarnished, but I kind of defend it. It's not like the best Halloween. Like it's not better than 2018, but like I don't think it's like garbage.
All right, fair enough. Travis Mitchell says Turning Red was just problematic in my opinion. It's about puberty and a bunch of mature things. Aiming it at children was way too young to be thinking about it, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Actually, you don't make bad points, because one of the things that I found really interesting was I watched Turning Red with my brother's girlfriend at the time, or I didn't watch, yeah, who was like probably 15, and I watched it with my wife, and I watched it with my cousin who was a little bit younger than her, and all three of them said that it made them feel very uncomfortable. They didn't like,
Wow.
yeah, they said that they didn't really prefer having that kind of stuff in a Pixar movie, and talked about it in a Pixar movie, which I found interesting, because they all come from like my wife's a Christian, but my brother's girlfriend wasn't, and they have very different backgrounds, very different beliefs, and very different opinions, but they all three agreed on that one thing, was it made them feel very uncomfortable. So
Yeah, my mom's a assistant principal at a preschool, and so she thought Turning Red was cute, but she said she would never show Soul to little kids because she thinks it's way too early to talk about death.
oh, interesting. I could see that. Yeah, I didn't really think about that, because the death is kind of cute in Soul. It's kind of done in a really cute way. But yeah, I could see that. Talk to Gamer 331 says, I also love Scooby Doo live action movie. I
Woo
mean, I haven't
woo.
seen that. I haven't seen that in a very, very long time, but I used to have that on repeat in my house. And you know what's awesome about that? Is that was James Gunn's like first big writing in Hollywood movie. Maybe not his first, but I know that it was definitely a movie that paid some bills for him at the time.
Oh, it did for sure. I
Yep.
said that I reviewed Scooby Doo for my Halloween specials this month, and so yeah, I mentioned James Gunn. It doesn't, the CGI does not age well. I will say that, but you will never ever not tell me Matthew Lillard is not Shaggy. That's all I'm saying.
I will say though, with the live action Scooby Doo movie, even as a kid, this kind of bothered me, because I liked Scrappy Doo. I don't know what the opinion on Scrappy Doo is, especially as a kid. I didn't know, because I wasn't talking to anyone else about Scrappy Doo. Personally, just me, I liked Scrappy Doo in the cartoons. And so the fact that they turn him into a villain at the end of the first film, I remember being as a kid not liking that very much at all.
Him turning into a big mean dog trying to steal Scooby Doo's souls. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck, man? I like this guy.
Dude, no one talks about it. I said in my review, the live action Scooby Doo is a weird movie in the best ways.
Yeah, Mr. Bean is in it.
He's the main he owns the island. He's a robot. They tear his face off and he's a robot.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was. I don't think I had seen Zombie Island at the time, but I think the live action Scooby Doo movie was the first time where the monster was real for me, and I remember that being like an adjustment.
I think I might be the same way, but I'm in the same exact boat because I grew up with Zombie Island on VHS, and that was also a Scooby Doo movie where it's a real monster. So I might be the same way. Yeah, I
Yeah,
might.
I just can't remember which one I watched first. I
Me
think I watched the
neither.
live action first. Talk to Me with 51 says Asteroid City was a huge disappointment this year. I haven't seen it yet, but my brother saw it and he said he really liked it.
A lot of people really like it, so it's one of those movies you just gotta watch and make your own opinion for.
Yeah. But you know what? It's Wes Anderson, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Uh, his style is not one that I prefer. I've seen a couple of his stuff, and I know that I think he's a great director at what he does. Just what he does isn't necessarily. It is, I don't know. It's weird. It doesn't really gel with me all that much. So
That's fair.
I'll have to give it a try. But yeah, Wes Anderson is not one of my favorites, to be honest with you.
That's totally fair.
Toxic Gamer 331 says I also enjoyed the Suicide Squad 2016 movie. I have fun with it. I don't
I
think it's
had
good like you,
I
but
had a girlfriend at the time, and me and her went saw it, and she loved it, and I had a great time with her. And so for that Halloween, She dressed up as Margot Robbie Harley Quinn in the most accurate way, and I was Jared Leto's Joker.
That's amazing. I need pictures, please.
I have his purple coat. I have his purple coat in my closet.
Still?
Yeah.
Wow. Are the tattoos there too?
No, but it's the coat. But I did do the tattoo. She made me because she worked as a princess for birthday parties, so she went accurate on costumes. So as a guy and as a girlfriend at the time, I was like, "You're doing great as Margot Robbie." I though had to like look all like Joker on hand and had to like I had to put like grill in my teeth. Like, yeah, I had the jacket in
Wow,
my
you went
my
all out. Walk around
oh
with damaged all night.
no, I did. I believe there's a picture somewhere, but also it's a bad memory. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It was a great memory.
You know, it's funny. I actually kind of have a similar experience. It wasn't my girlfriend, but I went to the movie for the first time with two girls that I was friends with from my youth group, and one of which I had a huge crush on. Like, um, and so we went to the movie together, and they were fangirling the entire time. And so I was just like kind of like with them, like, you know, I have a crush on this girl. I'm fangirling out too, because this is just what they're doing. So I'm doing it
Yep.
too. And I remember watching it and I was like having a great time watching it with them. I went home and I was telling my brother and my dad and my cousins, and I was just like, yeah, Suicide Squad was awesome. Like, I'm going to see it again. You want to come see it with me? It's so great. You're going to love it. And then I remember watching it with my dad and my brother, and the whole experience was different. And I remember specifically when the witch girl who can't stop doing this like resurrects her brother, and he's like, we need a machine to show these humans that we're in charge. And then a sky beam randomly comes out of nowhere into the sky. I remember at that moment sitting at the screen and going, oh crap, I brought them to a bad movie. Like, I was like,
Ooh.
wait a minute, this isn't good. I was just hyped up with the girls. And yeah, my brother and my dad, when it was over, was like, really, this is what you recommended? I was like,
Hey, Will Smith and Margot Robbie really good in it, you know?
yeah, it had some fun moments, but yeah,
It
no,
did.
overall it was a miss. But
Give
then
me
James Gunn came and gave us the Suicide Squad, and it was
give me
great.
like 30 seconds. I'll find this jacket real quick. Give me 30 seconds.
All right, no worries, man. I'm
But you go
excited.
ahead. Keep reading comments.
All right. We got Jacoby P. Well, thank you for joining us, Jacoby P. I'm happy to have you here. Hello, gentlemen. Well, hello to you too, man. DJ Police Wolf said, what about the old Suicide Squad movie? How was it? Oh, we just finished kind of talking about it a little bit. Travis Mitchell says Amazing Spider-Man 2, The Predator 2018, Batman vs. Superman, Ultimate Edition are some recent hated movies I like. Ooh, wow. Those are okay. I'm with you on the Amazing Spider-Man 2. I actually like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 more than the first one. Oh, he's back. Dude, that's nice. That actually just works for you.
I'm not wearing this the whole stream. I'll tell you that much. It got hot real quick.
All the lights on you.
Oh, this ring light and me are not friends right now. Oh, but I'll show it off. Yeah. Oh my god, I haven't worn this. I'm a sweater and this. Here, I'll stand up. This sweater and this does not go together. But yeah, this is the Joker. Heart, like imagine me wearing Joker, green hair, makeup, and like yeah.
You can flash someone pretty good with that thing.
Thank you. And now I'm gonna go put this away because now I'm flashing everybody.
All right, man. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, actually, I'm in the minority. I actually like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 more than I like the first Amazing Spider-Man. The Predator, though, 2018, dude, I cannot get on board with you there, man. I'm glad you like that. I'm glad it worked for you. That's probably one of my least favorite movies I've ever seen in the theater, personally. Like, man, that movie rubbed me the wrong way. I did not enjoy it. I thought it was terrible. But I'm really glad you liked it, dude. And I'm just happy that we got Prey last year, because I loved Prey. And Jacob's back. Look at this. Travis Mitchell saying that a couple movies that are hated that he likes are Amazing Spider-Man 2, The Predator 2018, and Batman vs. Superman.
I agree with Batman vs. Superman. It's not as bad as people make it sound. Spider-Man 2, Predator 2018, I hate that movie. But I'm glad you like it. I'm so glad you like it. Seriously, it's awesome that you like it.
Predator 2018 was a really bad experience for me. I really
Mhm.
did not like it.
I'm pretty sure that was my worst movie of the year. That in 20, I'm pretty sure. Like I did not like that movie.
If I was paying attention to it at 2018, it probably would have been mine too.
Yep.
Old Maddie's saying, thanks to Jacob for reviewing Courage the Cowardly Dog. Big fan of his channel. Well, there you go, man. That's awesome. Yeah, Jacob's awesome.
I really appreciate it. How the Halloween month killed me. I counted it up. Out of 31 days, I did 26 videos.
Wow. Do you shoot them in September or do you shoot them like
Yes, I did.
yeah.
I shot like 20 of them in September, and then like midway through October, I was like, all right, I'll finish these off.
Wow. That's commitment, dude. You've been doing this for like 10 years now, right?
I have been on YouTube for 11 years. I've been doing movie reviews for 10 years. My first movie review ever was World War Z in June 21st, 2013.
Yeah, I like going to your channel and going to the oldest and just watching the videos of you in the dark sitting on your bed.
Oh no!
It's just great to see how far you've come.
Oh no!
Dude, if you went back to my earliest videos, you'd find some bad stuff there
I
too, man,
did. You
so.
retweeted it the other day. You posted, you said something, you reviewed something a year ago, and I was like, I want to go watch it, and I did.
Oh, well, thank you very much, man. But that stuff is like nowhere near compared to the very beginning. I will not share anything from the very beginning of the channel. But I was proud
No.
of those reviews. So yeah, I decided to share them, see if I could get some more love on them. Jacoby B says, Jacob, have you watched Werewolf by Night in black and white yet? In black and
No,
white.
no, I have not. So yeah, he says black and white because they just released a colored version, and a month ago when they announced that, I said to myself on Twitter, I was like, it seems like a really cool idea to be black and white. Why would they do color? So G Colby P, I have not. But also, really quick, G Colby P, you are a awesome supporter, and you are also like really cool on Twitter. Just letting you know.
Amazing, dude. Yeah, I didn't watch the in color one because
I haven't watched either yet.
I liked the black and white so much. I don't really want to see the colors. I just want to leave it in my memory as it is. Maybe I'll watch it one day, but
That's how I feel. I haven't seen either one, but as a fan of horror movies and I like Marvel, that seems like up my alley, and I would rather just see a black and white. That's just me though.
so you haven't seen Werewolf by Night at all?
I have not.
Oh, dude, it's great. Talking about things that I loved from Marvel in the past little bit, Werewolf by Night is up there. I think it often gets forgotten about because it dropped exclusively on Disney Plus, along with the Guardians Holiday Special, so that's up there as well. But Werewolf by Night is awesome, absolutely incredible. Toxic 331 says, I haven't seen Good Burger yet. I'll watch it eventually. All right, we'll take a couple more, and then we're gonna head on to topic number 3.
It's right here on Steelbook. Go get it.
Oh, look at that! You got the Steelbook, man.
Because physical media is gonna die apparently, so go get it.
Yeah, we're getting closer and closer. Travis Mitchell says, who would you guys cast in a live action Courage the Cowardly Dog movie? I picture Kurt Smith or Harrison Ford as Eustace and Max Mom from Always Sunny as Muriel. I haven't seen Courage of the Cowardly Dog. But you reviewed it, so do you have anything off the top of your head?
On the top of my head, for some odd reason, I want to say Alan Altrick. Is that his last name? Altrick? You know what I'm talking about? Alan Altrick, right?
Alan Altrick that's not the guy who played Harrison or Solo. That's not the guy in Solo, Star Wars movie, right?
No, Alan Altrick. What is his name? I can't even think of his name.
I don't know. I'm drawing a blank with you, man. Toxic Gamer 51 says I have an AMC like 10 or 5 minutes away from me. That's pretty awesome. And we'll take View with Drew, and then we'll go on to topic number 3. View with Drew says, I was dressed up as X-Men 97 Wolverine, and unfortunately, I don't have footage of it, but I thought about making a short with Lego Wolverine dancing to the Whip Nene. Okay, man, I'll take that. That's second best, man. I'll definitely take that. Did you look up his name?
I can't. My Google. I'm so stupid. Google doesn't even know what I'm talking about.
We'll just move on. I'm not quite sure either.
I don't know. Also, I would, for shits and giggles, I would say Melissa McCarthy as the woman. Why not? Something
Why
weird.
not? She's talented. She's great.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on now. Let's go on to topic number 3. So we've been talking a lot about Daredevil recently on this channel, and I think for good reason. Daredevil, very popular show on Netflix. Did you watch the Netflix show, Jacob, when it was on?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I've seen the first episode and that's it. I got intimidated by all the crossovers and leading up to the Defenders. Didn't know where to start. Didn't know which episodes came into what. Just decided, never mind, not going to get bothered by it. Anyways, Netflix, their shows ended, and now we have Daredevil, Born Again, coming onto Disney Plus, and everything seemed like sunshine and rainbows. Daredevil coming into the MCU made his debut in No Way Home, and then in She-Hulk, and then we find out the show ain't turning out so great. The show ain't doing so good. And it wasn't doing so good to the point that Kevin Feige said, none of this is working. We're pulling the plug. We're getting rid of our writers. We're getting rid of everybody who has worked on this thing except for the actors. And we are starting from scratch. And from there, they have now decided that they are indeed going to bring on not just a new showrunner, but a showrunner. This comes to us from Variety. Oh, whoops. No, that's not Variety. That's what would that be? Oh, that would be the special code. That's the special code, everybody.
Shocking. Run,
that
everybody.
Everybody, go to that website, put this code in, do whatever you got to do. It's going away forever. Yep. If you got to put...
I'm running.
You're just gone. Yeah, guys, so that was the code for Blue Beetle. If you've been on the wb.com/redeem movie website for as long as you've been on there, I hope you get it. I hope it's well deserved. And please let us know down in the comments section if you did get it, because I like to congratulate you. I don't want you to just take the code and run. I want to celebrate with you. So with that out of the way now, and thank you guys for participating in that giveaway. We are now going to talk about Daredevil. So this comes to us from Variety. Daredevil Born Again has found its new creative team. Dario Scartapane, who wrote and executive produced on Netflix's Marvel series The Punisher, will serve as the showrunner for the new Daredevil show. After previous head writers Chris Ord and Matt Corman exited amid a major creative overhaul, Ord and Corman will still be credited as executive producers. Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, who directed on Marvel's Moon Knight and are the lead directors on season 2 of Loki, will step in to direct the rest of the first season of Daredevil Born Again. As part of the show's creative overhaul, Marvel released the previously hired directors from season 1 after production shut down amid the SAG-AFTRA strike. Elements of the material that were already shot will be incorporated into the series, but the show overall is meant to head in a new direction. All right, so here's the big headline of this story. Marvel is using a showrunner. If you guys don't know, and I didn't know this up until recently, how TV shows usually work is you have a showrunner. They look over all the writing, they look over all the episodes, they look over the whole production of the show, basically. Directors on TV shows are generally directors for hire. They come in to do a job, but they don't necessarily contribute all that much to the creative process. Well, Marvel, with their shows in the past, and this also comes from the information from MCU Reign of Marvel Studios, the book that I just recently finished, Marvel has not been using showrunners in their shows for Disney Plus recently. They have been using their shows or creating their shows the way that they kind of do the movies. They have writers and then they answer to executives. They bring in a director. There's not one person kind of leading the ship. It's kind of all a bunch of executives, which is not how you do a show typically in Hollywood. And what that's led to, what this book has also said, is a lot of the shows start off strong, and then there's some conflicts that happen near the end. Kevin Feige's had to actually come onto the sets and get things worked out for these for these shows because they didn't have a showrunner previously. And we kind of see the results of that with what happened with Daredevil. No showrunner, the direction of the show was not working, so they pulled the plug, and now they have a showrunner. And they don't just have a showrunner, they have a showrunner with Marvel experience because they pulled a guy who did Punisher on Netflix. Now, I did not watch Punisher, as mentioned before. I didn't really watch the Daredevil universe shows over there. Jacob, I assume that you have seen the Punisher? Yes.
I have seen The Punisher, yes.
So I will ask you directly this question. What's your confidence level now going into Daredevil Born Again? Where was it before they pulled the plug? Where was it when they pulled the plug? And where is it now that they've got a showrunner, specifically this showrunner?
Oh, man. Okay. So Big fan of Daredevil. Zach, I cannot tell you enough how much you need to watch those first
I've heard.
those 3 seasons of Daredevil. You got you need to watch it at least before this show does come out, because you are going to see if none now before. Okay, reverse. Before this was announced and they were shooting whatever, I was scared because I did not like how they portrayed him in She-Hulk. I was like, if this is how they're going to use him, and Vincent D'Onofrio from Hawkeye, I was like, this is Marvel DC Disney version, or DC Marvel Disney version of Daredevil, and I was not for it. But no, people need to realize them scrapping and restart, that's a big deal.
Oh, it's
That's a
huge.
big deal. You
They at
don't.
least had 4 episodes shot.
Yeah, and they said that he doesn't get the mask or the suit on till like episode 3 or 4, which, to be fair, I will say this, it's minor spoiler, Zach, it's not that big of a deal. He doesn't get his costume until the last few minutes of season 1 in the Netflix show. The first season is him wearing a black, like, just shirt and mask. So in that reality, I don't see how that's a bad thing, but people need to realize it's a big deal. They said, hey, this ain't working. We're restarting and we're going to go get the guy who made the Punisher, which is thumbs up in my book. So now I'm intrigued. I still don't like that isn't it 18 episodes? I don't like that.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be 18 episodes anymore.
Okay,
Because
good.
going to your point, with the show not showing the Daredevil outfit until episode 4, which I was kind of on the same page as you, where it's like, out of 18 episodes, getting to episode 4 and then getting him in costume doesn't seem like that big of a deal to me, because then you have all these other episodes with him in costume. But I guess since they release weekly, we would be waiting a month until we saw him in the costume, so I guess some fans would get really upset about that. But I feel like something about that too tells me that there was a pacing issue for the show, which I feel like the Marvel Disney Plus shows have had that problem a lot with their shows, is they have pacing problems, because they'll kind of start off kind of slow and almost like they're gradually building, and then the endings always feel rushed.
Yes.
It's like they ran out of time and they just got to end it. And the pacing always feels, and the worst example of that was Moon Knight for me. Moon Knight had, I thought, some of the worst pacing of the Marvel Disney Plus shows. Anyways, I feel like because they've realized that that wasn't working and they pulled the plug, and they're kind of starting from scratch, I feel like there could be a chance that they shorten the episodes just to make that pacing maybe tighter.
I would hope so, because like you said, every time I see a review of after the seasons have ended, everyone, I've done it before. They say I needed one more episode to like get a fleshing this out, not just jumping straight in the action. So in all reality, if you're gonna reboot, if you're gonna restart in this show, I need to hear 8 episodes. I need to hear 10 episodes. I'm fine with 10. 10 will be like a cool number, whatever. But
I think 10 is good. Yeah.
10 is good. The 6 is just not working.
It's too
just
short.
not. It's not.
Yeah.
And WandaVision was 30, 40-minute episodes, but there were 9 episodes for WandaVision. So obviously they can do more, but obviously you don't need to be spending $25 million on each episode. Just saying.
Well, I think the 6-episode structure also goes back to how they were kind of using these or making these shows as they were movies, because they had like 3 episodes for Act 1, 3 episodes for Act 2, 3 episodes for Act 3. And it just doesn't work that way in a TV show. The structure of that is not the same. You're not making a 6-hour movie. That's not how they should approach it. And I feel like a lot of their shows, they've been approaching it that way. And I do feel like they're starting to change that, because Loki season 2, I have not felt that with. We haven't finished it yet, but as we've gone along, we just finished episode 4. I do not feel the pacing problem as much as I have in the past, and I feel like Loki season 2 might be the turning point for their shows. And we also have Loki season 2 directors that have been brought on to do this now. So and Moon Knight directors, which I do think the pacing in Moon Knight was a little poor, but the direction in Moon Knight episodes I thought was really good. So I'm very excited about the directors they've brought on. The showrunner sounds great. So yeah, would you say that you are more excited for this show now than you were before with this news?
I'm definitely going to be more happy. I'm happy they're going this direction. I'm happy they said to them, like, this is, again, people, like I said, this is a big deal. Marvel said, we are not making something we are proud of. We are going to restart it. That is
Yeah.
a big deal because I cannot think of one project where they did that. I can't. So that's a big deal. And they now know they have to take care of Daredevil because those fans from Netflix Daredevil, they don't want to see She-Hulk Daredevil. They want to see the good Daredevil, which for you, Zach, again, like I said, I would definitely recommend watching it. So for my question for you, Zach, how did you feel about Daredevil and She-Hulk? Like, how did you see him? Like, did you like him that way? Did you like the boyfriend material, or like because you haven't seen the grit, you haven't seen
Yeah.
the 3 seasons of so I want to know how do you see Daredevil? Like, how are you excited now? Are you excited they're going back to a show that you haven't watched yet? So really, you're in the middle. You don't know where to go.
Yeah. So I purposely have decided not to watch the show until this show comes out because I want to be kind of like what I did with Ahsoka. I want to see how it works for the casual person. I want to see um how how inviting it is to a newcomer, which is also kind of how I was feeling about the She-Hulk episode was how is this Daredevil going to be presented to me in the MCU? And personally, I thought the Daredevil episode of She-Hulk was probably their best episode. I actually ended up really enjoying it.
Okay.
I liked the character of Matt Murdock. I liked the lawyer persona of him. I liked how they showed just like his heightened senses, the fact that he could smell the gasoline on the guy and knew exactly what type of gasoline he used. I thought that they did a really good job of demonstrating his powers in that kind of way. I personally really liked his relationship with She-Hulk, with Tatiana Maslany. I thought it was very cute. I thought they were very charming together. And I thought that when it came to the action, he was also a lot of fun to watch as the action scenes. So honestly, I didn't have a problem with him in She-Hulk. I actually really enjoyed his debut. I've seen some people say that like Daredevil is not funny and he's not supposed to be funny. Which I mean, I don't feel like he was a goofball in She-Hulk. Like maybe he made a couple quips here and there, like every Marvel character does in the MCU, but he didn't come across to me as like an imbecile or anything. He came across as very intelligent, very composed, knew what he was doing, and they just kind of gave him a relationship with Tatiana Maslany, which again I liked. So yeah, I like this Daredevil. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with him in Born Again.
Okay, well that makes me so happy. The only thing I ask for now, honestly, like again, you got the right showrunner, you got the right people. I think you have the right mindset. I'm hoping for a good show. Let's just cut down 18. Why 18? Just do like 10. Like we don't need 6. 6 seems like it's not working, so let's just do like 10, maybe to do 9. Like, but not to 18. Like that's a lot.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys think? Do you want the 18? Are you excited for that much Daredevil, or do you think they should cut it down? Are you excited about the showrunner? Are you disappointed that they pulled the plug? Did you just want to see what they turned out anyways? Comment down below. Let us know all your thoughts and opinions about this, guys. And without further ado, let's see what you guys are saying about this. All right. We're about an hour, or actually, crap, we're almost 2 hours into this. So what I want to do actually is I want to do the final topic, and then we'll do our comments and questions and see if we can get through as many as we can. So we're just gonna
I'm
move
in
on.
no rush. Go right ahead.
Perfect. I'm just gonna move on to topic number 4. So crazy news came out today in the
Oh,
Variety article. Crazy news, a bunch of crazy news. So
article of the year.
so as mentioned before, I've been diving deep into the Marvel behind the scenes recently this past week. I listened to the MCU Reign of Marvel Studios book on Audible book for 16 hours. And then this Variety article has come out, and there's been a lot of new stuff, a lot of new things brought into the light through not just that book but this Variety article. So we're just going to talk about a couple things in this Variety article. One of the big things that I want to touch upon in this Variety article, though, is this concept of bringing the original Avengers back for a film. And this comes to us from this Variety article where they say this. With Iger, Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, with Iger publicly acknowledging the downside of a Marvel TV glut that diluted focus and attention, the keepers of the comic book empire are considering some dramatic moves. Sources say there have been talks in bringing back the original gang for an Avengers movie. This would include reviving Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, both of whom were killed off in Endgame. That shouldn't be a stumbling block. In comic books, beloved characters are often killed off, only to be resurrected thanks to the power of things like the multiverse. But the studio hasn't yet committed to the idea. If it were able to bring those actors back, it would not come cheap. Sources say Robert Downey Jr.'s upfront salary for Iron Man 3 was around $25 million. Okay, so let me just talk a little bit about this. So the reason why they bring up Robert Downey Jr.'s $25 million budget that it would take to bring him back, that's something touched upon in the book of actually one of the reasons why Robert Downey Jr. was decided to be killed off in Endgame. It wasn't just the money, though. It wasn't just the fact that Robert Downey Jr. was getting so expensive to bring back. It was also story based. The writers looked at the story that they had planned out for Endgame and they realized that the logical and conclusive end for Tony Stark, which I completely 100% agree with, was the right decision, was for him to sacrifice himself and save the galaxy and die in the process. It made sense for the story, it made sense for the character, and I guess it got rid of some some big bills to be paid as well. But it wasn't just the leading decision maker for killing him off. To me, bringing him back, money is the biggest decision leader in this decision. Hate I hate this idea. I hate this. We talked about it a little bit when there was a rumor that Kevin Feige said he wanted to bring back some stuff after Secret Wars, kind of do a soft reboot. This is kind of in the same lane as that. But to me, this is Marvel Studios hitting the panic button. They're hitting the panic button. They're not thinking about story. They're not thinking about character. They are thinking about, okay, people didn't enjoy Secret Invasion. People aren't enjoying this multiverse saga. We're losing some of the casual viewers. What did they like? They liked Iron Man. Well, let's just bring them back and get the box office back along with them. Bring back Black Widow as well. People liked her too. I hate this. I hate this idea. I hate this mindset. I hate this way of thinking. I think it's regressive. I don't think it's progressive. I think going back to the well to older characters is not the way to fix your universe. I think the way to fix your universe is to get back to telling the story first, the characters first. We didn't know the Guardians of the Galaxy before the movies came out, and now they're beloved characters. There are so many more characters in the Marvel well. Kevin Feige himself has said they have like 8,000 characters that they still have to bring to the screen. There's still so much to do. Then do it. Bring us new characters. Keep telling these stories. You have so much more to offer. Do not go back to these iconic moments, to these iconic characters, and ruin it. Jacob, do you think I'm being a little bit over the top, a little bit
no, you're right. You're right. This is Rise of Skywalker. This is panic button. Bring back fans. This is the same thing. And there is one key word that I want everyone who's listening to when that article. So everyone's thinking, okay, so Secret Wars. If he came back, it'd be Secret Wars. If Black Widow came back, it'd be Secret Wars. That's the movie that it would happen in. I would assume. The key word, reviving. They're not just doing a portion of them. They're trying to bring him back. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
You gave us the Endgame gave you everything of an Iron Man story arc while killing him in a beautiful way. Black Widow, even though they gave us a movie after her death, which is a huge mistake, you still gave her a death that felt so like gut-wrenching because of what happened with Thanos and like bringing her to that area, and then obviously Hawkeye and her going to the same area and having to do the same deed that Thanos did. The themes of character and what the story gave you, you are going to piss more people off than make them happy. But hey, this is what's happening. You bring in, like you said, Zach, you have the X-Men. Where are they? Fantastic Four. People know that brand. Bring in that brand. Stop giving us Echo or Ironheart TV series. I'm sorry. The reason why so many people love No Way Home is because we got to see Tobey Maguire again. We got to see Andrew Garfield. The reason why people were so excited for Multiverse of Madness, because we might have seen more cameos. Right now, Marvel's bigger movies, besides Guardians 3, are the movies that involve the multiverse. Deadpool 3 is going to make $1 billion because you're probably going to see Halle Berry as Storm. You're probably going to see freaking everybody from every early 2000s Marvel movie. So you're telling me all that product you have and you want to go back to Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans. Like, it's Chris Evans too, right? They're talking to everybody.
Yeah, they'd
They
have to
want,
bring him back too. Yeah.
dude. Zach, your 1 minute speech needs to be cut out and put on every Twitter thread ever, because this is the truth. You said it. Kevin Feige says we've barely scratched the Marvel universe. Then why are you even going backwards? You have the X-Men. Bring in the X-Men. Bring us Wolverine. Obviously Hugh Jackman. Bring us a new Wolverine. Bring us a new. How many times? It's been like 4 years with freaking Fantastic Four. Hell, we have Blade coming out apparently. I mean,
No,
you
we don't.
have you have everything sitting there for your future. But no, you're pulling a Rise of Skywalker. Hit the panic button. Let's get this people. We want people screaming in auditoriums. We want people talking about Marvel again. And by doing that is by showing Robert Downey Jr.'s returned. No, bring us awesome stories. Then you'll win us back. It's the stories, not the cameos.
Yes, absolutely. And like, I mean, going back to what you were saying about the cameos, like you could argue that that's also going back and bringing characters that we've already dealt with forward. But like, I feel like the cameos of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were used very well in No Way Home. Personally, I got a kick out of it. It worked for the story, and I thought, and it also didn't overshadow the whole movie. You know, they took their time with introducing it. They made sure that Tom had a story going already. I really like No Way Home. The stuff in Deadpool 3 is to be decided. We haven't seen that yet. But the biggest thing with this too is like, okay, you bring them back, you revive them, you get the box office buzz, you get the numbers, you get the fans, trailer reactions, Iron Man pops up out of a portal. Then what? Where do they go from there? You're gonna like, it's just gonna be redundant. Like, oh, they have to readjust to life after their. We saw that with the blip, with like how many people. Like it's. I don't see a point. I don't see a reason for them to come back, and I don't see a way forward where it makes sense to bring them back, like at all. And some of the stuff in this article as well, which if you like, I implore you guys, the link to this article is down in the description below. Click it, read it. It is fascinating.
I say we're scratching the universe of this article. The article goes into the Marvels movie coming up. It talks about Guardians 3. It talks about Quantumania. It talks about the future of Secret Wars. Like the article, it was really well written. I forget the author. I should have said that because the person who wrote the article did a very good job.
Yeah, very, very good read. I definitely highly recommend it. But that also, like, with the Fantastic Four and the X-Men and stuff like that, like, in the book, they talk about how, like, they were forced, Marvel and Kathleen Kennedy at Star Wars, they were forced by, like, Bob Chapek to announce things that weren't even ready, not even close to being ready. And one of those things was the Fantastic Four. So I'm starting to feel a little bit more iffy about that Fantastic Four. But, like, I just want the Marvel Universe to move forward. The Marvel Universe is not going to continue to grow if it regresses back to characters we've already seen. Like, we never would have gotten a Star-Lord. We never would have gotten a T'Challa. We never would have gotten, a Shang-Chi if they hadn't, like, gone forward with characters and pulled out characters that no one had ever heard of and brought them into the limelight through this universe. And there's so many more characters to do that with. I just have no interest in this, honestly. I mean, if they announced that Robert Downey Jr. was coming back, maybe as a fanboy, I'd get a little bit like, oh my gosh, he's coming back. But when I really stop to think about it and feel my feelings, it would just tick me right off.
See, the only thing I can say right now is I think everyone's asked this before, and I want to know your opinion, Zach. I'm going to ask this question. How would you feel if Secret Wars, so it's Kang Dynasty, then it's Secret Wars, right? Secret Wars is the last one. Okay, so Secret Wars is Phase 6. I'm assuming it's the ending of Phase 6, Secret Wars.
Well, in this article, they talk about how they might not go forward with Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty anymore. They talk about how they're considering pivoting away from that.
I say that topic alone is already huge. How they might get rid of Kang and say, "Hey, Doctor Doom, we need you now." That just like, but that to me seems reasonable on a business side due to Jonathan Majors. That's all I'm going to say about that topic. That seems reasonable, even though it seems like the one person said in the article, when season 2 of Loki ends, they said the F word.
Yeah.
They are effed over
They
Kang,
don't know what they're going to do.
So I don't know, but my question to you, Zach, how would you feel? Because everyone is asking it now. Superhero fatigue. How would you feel if after Secret Wars ended, let's just say Secret Wars came out and ended, they took a 3-year break from Marvel? 3 years. How would you feel about that?
I mean, they would never do it.
No,
There's
no.
no way Disney would ever do it. I don't see. That's the thing is, I don't need a break from it.
Okay.
Like that would kind of be like, maybe people would say that's not the same thing, but to me it is. That's like saying after uh John Wick 5 comes out, if we took a 3-year break from action movies. You know?
Okay.
Like that's how that question kind of feels to me, cuz I don't necessarily believe in superhero fatigue. Um I just think the last few superhero movies that we've gotten have been kind of poor. And like a lot of like I've enjoyed a lot of them that have come out, but the golden age we're definitely kind of coming out of,
Yes.
and they need to reinvent and find new things as well, which I do think Marvel is still committed to doing. This is not one of the ways to do that, but and I think DC, I think what James Gunn has over there too, I think that's going to be something that gets us back into reinvention and into something different, something new, with like a horror movie and Swamp Thing and all this kind of stuff. I think could be really, really cool. I think there's a lot of life left in and not just the universe of comic book movies, but just in comic book movies and superhero movies in general. I think the biggest thing is that if they were going to take a 3-year break, it would be to get their quality control back. Take a step back, take a breather. Like again, it would never happen, but like yet let VFX workers work on this a little bit longer, or this to get it pitched. Because in this article, they talk about how the VFX artists for Ant-Man Quantumania were so rushed they didn't even finish some shots. There's some shots in Quantumania that are out of focus because the CG isn't done. Like that's insane, because these guys are just so overworked, and the product has fallen in quality because of it. And they talk about like yeah, they they talk about how with Kang, it's not even really the stuff going on with Jonathan Majors that they're thinking of pivoting. It's because Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumanium didn't do as well as they thought it would. So now they're trying to course correct and find something different, which I don't think is necessarily wrong. Because one of the things I mentioned to you earlier that this MCU book that I was listening to it did was it demystified the whole idea that Kevin Feige had this like whole plan of 10 years ready to go back in 2008. They're more so the masters of pivoting. Like something would happen, they would pivot the story. Oh, this happened in that movie, that can now affect this movie in this way, so they pivot that. And like Thanos, Joss Whedon threw Thanos in the post credit scenes himself. That was not a Marvel thing that they told him to do. He put that in there, and then they used that later on in Guardians of the Galaxy because they realized that they could connect it in that way. And then he just eventually became the big bad guy in Infinity War. But it wasn't like in 2008 with Iron Man, Kevin Feige was like, yeah, this is going to lead to Infinity War, and this is what I'm building up to, right? Which I feel like has kind of been like the legend of the mythical Kevin Feige. But that book really took that down and demystified that for me. So now hearing this where it's like, oh, Kang's not working, we got to pivot, maybe Doctor Doom, which has worked for them in the past, but I think what you're seeing is it's their luck is running out a little bit. So I feel like there's some work over there that needs to be done to kind of figure out the direction they actually want to go with this universe, and not just bringing back what worked before to try and get it to work again.
All I know is people are saying Marvel's in shambles. In all reality, Marvel is not in shambles. They are just trying their very best to please the audience, but also they're trying to be business people and they're trying to make the decisions to make them more money. That is the
Yeah.
final fine line. It is money. It's always going to be about money. And right now, I believe Marvel is looking at the Marvels as potentially a flop because I mean in the article, again, go read the article, it reads what's the director's name for the Marvels? What's her name?
Oh crap, I can't remember her name.
It,
I can't remember.
it says they had to do reshoots and they were in post production for a 200 something million dollar movie, and she moved to England to do another movie in the middle of post production, which she
Yeah.
also came out a month ago and said like this movie has da 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 da, but it's also a Kevin Feige movie. And I tweeted out saying, "Oh, so you're telling me it's another produced Kevin Feige puzzle piece for another Marvel movie?"
Yeah.
So all me and Zach can say is go sit on the toilet and read this article.
Yep, you pooper troopers, you got some work to do there.
Yep.
Anyway, guys, what do you guys think of this? What do you guys think of the idea of bringing the original Avengers back for another film? Have you guys read this article? Is there stuff in there that's blown your mind even more than this news? Comment down below and let us know all your thoughts and opinions about that, guys. And yeah, that's just scratching the surface of this article. There's so much more in this.
There's so much.
Yeah.
I, who when you sent this to me earlier, which it was blowing up on Twitter, so honestly, I just had to go on Twitter to see it. I was reading through it and I was like, "What?" And then I was like, "What?" And I was like, "No way." So guys, go read it. It's a great article. It's also really long, so you could definitely spend a good hour reading it.
Yeah, easily. Easily. But yeah, no, it's yeah, what a read. Anyways, we'll go to your comments and questions now for the rest of the night, guys. We'll try to go a little quick. It is already in the 2-hour mark, but we appreciate all you guys being here and joining us and sticking around, and it's been fun. Dakota Man Movies, one of our beloved channel members. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining us. Hey guys, what are your most anticipated movies for November? We kind of already answered that, but
Good Burger 2.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut on that one. TJ Police Wolf says, "Hey Zach, you have any opinions on Transformers: Rise of the Beast? It was a very competently made movie with a fun action scene at the end, but a lot of underdeveloped elements throughout the rest of it. That's what I'll say about that. That's my overall thoughts." He said he went to see it in theaters this summer and it was epic. I'm glad you really enjoyed it, man. Zach Attack reviews. Under MCU, I worry how Deadpool 3 will pan out. What do you think? Are you worried about how the MCU is gonna do with Deadpool 3?
Yeah.
I feel like 3 years ago, the answer is a no-brainer. Like, absolutely not. I'm not worried. But now we're in a different place.
I think on paper, they have the ingredients to make an awesome Deadpool 3. It's rated R. You have Sean Levy as director, and you are bringing back Hugh Jackman one more time as Wolverine. I think one more time. I think so. I have hopes. It's Ryan Reynolds. He's helped writing it, producing it. I have hope, but yeah, that's all I can really say. Honestly, I have hope.
Here's my confidence for Deadpool 3. Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy have made really good movies together in the past. Free Guy, Adam Project, I liked as well. Hugh Jackman is back, and Kevin Feige worked closely with him on the first X-Men. Was a big help with him discovering the Wolverine character. So the fact that they're reunited with Kevin Feige, I think, is a good sign. And the writers came out and said not too long. Well, it was a couple months now, but they came out and said that Disney is really hands off. They're letting them do what they want to do, and they haven't really received any notes. So all those combined makes me feel like they have total control of this project. It doesn't sound like they're very handcuffed. It hasn't had many troubles that have come out in the news about it, aside from shutting down for the actor strike, but that's not their fault at all. So I have huge confidence that Deadpool 3, even under the MCU's state right now, is going to be awesome.
Yes, I agree.
Have you seen that with T? What's going on, man? Thanks for joining us. He says, greetings, Zach. Well, greetings to you as well. Zach Goller says Deadpool 3 is one of my most anticipated releases for next year. Might be 2025, man. I don't want to burst your bubble, burst all of our bubbles, but that just might be the reality. Have you seen that with T? Says Deadpool won't come close to being as good of a Christmas movie as Die Hard. Did you ever watch Once Upon a Deadpool?
I worked at the movie theater and I didn't technically sit and watch it, but I was an usher and I would walk into the auditoriums and I would watch those scenes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have the Blu-ray.
Wow.
It's just it literally is just a TV cut edit of Deadpool 2 with some inserts of Ryan Reynolds and Fred Savage doing some Princess Bride spoofs, and it's kind of fun, honestly. It weirdly kind of worked the way that they did it. So yeah.
I will say I will never ever forget when it came out, because I had to tell people when purchasing tickets, this is not Deadpool 3. And people would be like, seriously, they'd be like, wait, really? I was like, this is Deadpool 2 with like 10 extra minutes. They're like, oh, and they turn around and leave. I was like, I did my job.
Did you say like, wait, it's for cancer? Like,
Oh, I mean, I, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot that was
Okay.
the reason why.
Yeah. Oof. Oof. All right. Moving on
Ah.
before we ruin Jacob's night.
I'm
Travis Mitchell says
sorry.
we got snow in New Hampshire today, so I relate. Yeah, no snow here yet, but I suspect it will be coming very quickly. Some days we get it the day after Halloween, but that didn't happen today. Jacob, is it just Jacoby? I think it's just Jacoby.
Jacoby P is what I always hear
Jacoby P. Okay.
when people say his name.
My memory of Matthew Perry is when he guest starred on Scrubs, even directed a few episodes too. R.I.P. Oh, I did not know that. That's pretty
He
cool.
did?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Oh, I used to watch Scrubs. Dang, that's cool.
Travis Mitchell says my best memory of Matthew Perry is when Kumar calls the airport guy a Matthew Perry looking. I actually haven't. That's those.
Harold and
Oh,
Kumar movies?
Yes, I haven't seen those.
They're
I've seen
funny.
clips.
They're stoner comedies.
Yeah, I've seen clips of them, but I haven't seen it. Travis Mitchell says I pride myself in being able to do a good Hayden Christensen impression. Ooh, man, that's awesome. I hope to see that one day. Travis Mitchell goes on to say, has there been a movie you knew nothing about and assumed it was about something different based on the title? I thought The Creator was a documentary about Tyler, the Creator. Interesting. Well, I mean, recently, I said this on the show the other week. I thought The House of Usher was about the pop star Usher.
Oh my
And I thought that
goodness.
he was just like up to some stuff, like that Army Hammer documentary that came out this past year. I did not know that it was just like a horror show.
What's funny is okay, so to answer your question, unfortunately for me, for being so into the movie space, I'm always gonna kind of know what the movie kind of is before going in.
Mhm.
But my mom and dad were watching The House of Usher, and they literally were like, "Is it based on the Usher, the singer?" I was like, "No,
Yeah,
no."
not alone.
I was like, "You're not alone, Zach." My mom and dad fully asked, like the Usher guy. My dad's like, "The guy who's doing the Super Bowl halftime." I was like, "Nope, that has nothing to do with him."
That's funny. I had no idea what the Army of Darkness was when I first watched it.
Oh,
The
Evil Dead
third
3?
Evil Dead. Yeah. I literally was like, I want to watch something new. And this was like in high school, so I was probably like 16. And I just went into Netflix and I typed in the letter A, and the first movie that popped up I was gonna watch, and Army of Darkness popped up. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And it was weird. But I enjoyed it. And then I found out it was the last of a trilogy, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
When I was younger, I watched Son of the Mask first, and I did not know it was a sequel to The Mask.
No. You poor guy. I
I was
hate
little.
that movie.
Oh, it's awful, especially when you watch the first one.
Oh man. Have you seen that with T says I thought that movie was terrible. I watched it at home and I knew nothing about the game, so I was just watching a bad movie with no context to the Easter eggs. Oh, okay,
Five
I see.
Nights.
Toxic331 says today Zach on WWE. Oh yeah, he made an avatar of me on his game, his wrestling game, and I fight people in it. So he says that today I faced my friend Ace for All-Star Championship match, and also Maleficent and Supergirl faced each other as well as in a great match. Nice, dude. Nice. How did I do? Did I kick Ace's butt?
Zach, you're a bobblehead and a game character. How do you feel?
Dude, he'll like tag me in those videos, and I'll watch them with my wife, and she's just like, "Who is this?" When I'm like, "He's
It's
just
you.
somebody who watches me." I don't. It's kind of crazy. I don't know.
That's awesome.
It's really cool. I'm always flattered when those videos pop up. Zach Goller says, "Now Jacob, what is the greatest Christmas movie of all time?" I think I know your answer.
In my personal opinion, we watch it every Christmas Eve. It is a tradition at the Hubbard house. I love National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Nice, dude. I love that movie.
I love every time in the scene where he's opening the attic door to be quiet in the morning and that ladder door hits him in the face. I can't tell you how hard I laugh every year.
Oh, dude, there's so many great moments in that. I love when when the girl's eyes freeze up when they go to get the Christmas tree at the beginning.
She's like in the backseat. He's like, "You're doing really well." And she's like, she can't say anything. Her face is frozen.
And everything with the neighbors. Like,
Oh yeah.
just the escalation of their anger is my favorite.
And also just to throw a little shout out real quick, I do love the live action Grinch with Jim Carrey. I
Me too.
love it. I love it. I love it.
Nice. Me too, man. Staple of my childhood.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
Toxic Gamer 331 says, I would have hated that if that happened to me in my theater. Yeah, man. I mean, your experience. I can't believe that. That's crazy.
Yep.
Toxic Gamer 331 says, especially when me and my friends were seeing Five Nights at Freddy's, if that had happened, I also would have been furious. Have you guys seen Trick or Treat from 2007? I assume you have, Jacob.
I have, and they just announced a sequel, or they announced a sequel, and it's like actually getting made. It is a awesome Halloween movie.
Nice. I've never seen it. Toxic Gamer 331 says, I have a really funny story to tell where my friends stayed the night at my house after you seeing Five Nights at Freddy, and there's a scene where I looked over and my friend's jaws were on the floor for like 30 straight seconds. The first time I saw the movie too, I had the same reaction. I wonder
That's
what scene that
awesome.
is.
I love that. Even though I like the movie, I don't care. As long as someone out there enjoys it, that's awesome.
Yeah, someone made something that someone else enjoyed, and that's awesome. Have you seen it with T says I watched Trick or Treat 2 nights ago, or Trick or Treat 2 nights ago, and it made me miss Anna Paquin. I love her. I'm
I,
not familiar with that actress, but sorry to hear that, man.
she's a good actress. My mom watched her in True Blood.
Oh, cool. Nathan's Random Movie says, now I'm curious to hear what your best and worst movie theater experiences are. Worst is hard for me because I honestly don't have that many bad experiences in my, like when I saw Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I told this story before, but like I wasn't like that invested in the movie, to be honest. But there was a lady next to me, who in the middle of the movie, her phone rang and she answered it and she was like,
Oh,
hello. And she's like, no, I'm not doing much. I'm just in the movie. What's up? And then she just proceeded to have this conversation right next to me. And like, I was just kind of sitting there like, I could get mad about this, but I'm just watching Sonic. So I just decided to leave it alone. And she talked for like a good 10-15 minutes on the phone.
oh my
So
god.
I got to hear an interesting conversation about someone being locked out of the house and stuff. But other than that,
For me, I mean, okay, so in all reality, I see every movie, so I've dealt with a lot, but I would have better negative or bad experiences because I used to work at a movie theater. I worked there for 4 years, so I have plenty of bad stories. But since I've already told one tonight, I'll just leave it that. For a good one, all I'm gonna say is I'll never forget watching The Lighthouse. It was by myself in a dark, small theater, and it was like raining outside, and it was just a perfect movie theater experience. And
wow,
I'll never forget it. But for worst, since I've already told one story, I feel like that's enough. But
for sure, yeah.
I have a lot.
All right, more for when you return, man.
Yes.
I will say my best was Force Awakens because that was like the rowdiest. Everyone in cosplay,
Oh
super
yeah.
amped, super excited. Opening night, like that was an amazing experience. That was one of the best.
I'll
And
say
Endgame,
Deathly Hollows Part 2 at midnight in 2011 when
wild,
Harry defeats Voldemort and the very end, the music, it just I'll never forget it. Never ever forget that moment.
amazing. Talk to you 51 says, are any of you two seeing Terrifier 2 to see the teaser for Terrifier 3 in theaters? That might end up being your favorite Christmas movie moving forward because Terrifier 3 apparently takes place during Christmas.
Yeah. No, I did not get a chance to see it because I'm here with my good pal Zach.
Aw, thanks, buddy. You gave up Terrifier 2 to see Terrifier 3's teaser
Oh
for me? That is the
no!
sweetest thing anyone
Oh
has ever done for me.
no! Yes, sir. Of course, of course.
um, have you seen that with T says I'm from New York City, so I have had some very interesting movie going experiences. I can imagine. So I'm from a fairly small city, so
Same.
it doesn't get too rowdy. Michael 101591 is here. What's going on, Michael 101591? Thanks for joining us. He says, hey Zach. Well, hello to you too. Jacoby says, I thought Shang-Chi did well. It did well considering when it took place because it was still in the pandemic, or it was during the like the time where like not all the theaters were open at least. So for when it came out, I think it did decently well. But in terms of Marvel's numbers, it was kind of low. Toxic with 51 says, I really enjoyed Miss Marvel as a character, though, even though I didn't enjoy the show. Hey, that's great, man. She won you over, and hopefully you'll like the Marvels. Jacoby says, I don't hate She-Hulk like others do. I like Tatiana Maslany, and I love the Daredevil episode. Me too. But the show didn't know what it wanted to be, and it did have some cringe moments. I completely agree with that. I don't think it knew what it wanted to be either.
Tatiana Maslany, sorry if I messed that name up. She's fantastic. She is a amazing actress, and so I have no blame on her. She was so likable in the show. I just thought the writing was really bad. And listen, I talk about cringe. I mean, the moment I see She-Hulk twerking with Megan Thee Stallion, I was like, okay.
I mean, I kind of got a chuckle out of that. I didn't think it was that bad.
Um,
Jacoby says the family aspect helped elevate Miss Marvel above average. Yeah, I love
It
the
did.
family aspect.
I did too.
Mike 101 says, I thought that She-Hulk was okay. Zach Attack says Captain Marvel did have long hair in Shang-Chi. Okay. All right. Our bad.
All right, Zach, your theory, we're gonna see it next Friday or next Thursday, whatever. We're gonna find out.
Yeah, we're gonna find out. I'm sure I'm wrong, but it would be fun. Nathan's Random Movie says, how would you rank the October movies you saw? Mine are 4-1, Exorcist, Believer, Five Nights at Freddy's, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Totally Killer. I only saw Killers of the Flower Moon and Totally Killer, so I would go Killers of the Flower Moon, then Totally Killer.
Oh goodness, man! You're asking me the month I watched 20 movies. I watched a lot
Yeah.
of, but I will
You don't
say
have-
for new movies, I will say Killers of the Flower Moon. Man, it's gonna sound so stupid. Taylor Swift.
Hey, she's a firecracker, man. I'm
Dude,
sure that was
it
an
was
awesome concert.
that theater experience. Talk about rowdy. Oh my god.
I couldn't do it. I honestly couldn't do it.
It's okay because if you are not a fan, then don't even. But I know a lot of her music and I enjoy her. So going there and seeing 400 people in this auditorium scream with their loud lungs, I was like, they're having a great time. I'm enjoying it. But yeah, totally. Killers Flower Moon's number one. It's not even competition.
All right. Toxic with 51 says John Wick Chapter 4 is my number one right now. I think still. I think that's still my top 5.
It's in my
really
top
love
5.
that movie. Zach Attack says Saltburn looks great, but it has a bad word of mouth.
No.
Oh no.
I don't care. It's all about opinions. And my opinion is I want to see it.
That's right. It's all subjective. Zach Attack goes on to say nothing elevated about the Black Phone. It's a crater film. Okay, there you go. Hey, you know what? I'm learning, guys. Nathan's Random Movie says, what are you planning on watching in November? I plan on the Holdovers tomorrow. The Marvels, The Killer, Hunger Games, Next Goal Wins, Thanksgiving, and Napoleon. The Holdovers, if I get it, for sure. The Marvels, for sure. Next Goal Wins, for sure. And Napoleon, for sure.
I see everything.
There you go. He's gonna watch
everything. I'm gonna see everything you're saying on that list. That and probably a few Oscar movies if I get them early. So yeah.
There you go. Pure Hangout, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining us tonight. He says, I wish that they would leave It Follows alone, keep it special.
That's fair.
That's fair. But hey, if we get an awesome sequel, if we get the aliens to this It Follows, could be worth it. Zach Attack Reviews says we're also getting Megan 2.0, Smile 2, Trick or Treat 2, Blood and Honey 2. It's not even a real movie. And Terrifier 3. We are getting new horror franchises finally. Yeah,
that is
horror
true.
Fans are eating good right now.
Yes, we are. Zach, come and join us, please.
Zach Attack says, OMG, these lies in the trailer are killing me. Lies in the trailer? Oh, the Quantumanium lies? Is that what he means? Travis Mitchell says the white phone, instead of a phone with good spirits, it's a phone of demons telling the character to do evil things. Sounds dumb, but that's the sequel I think of. I'm not opposed to that.
It's a little far-fetched, but I think, yeah.
I wouldn't call it the white phone though. I don't like the white phone. But
no. If
you incorporated something like that, I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting.
The black phones. The
black phones. Talking with you through one says, all right, I'm gonna go now. Another great stream. I got school tomorrow, so yeah, I'll see you on the next live pizza time. Well, thank you for joining us, man. The show was made better because you were a part of it, and I appreciate you. And have a great day at school tomorrow, man. Have a good night. Zach Attack Reviews is saying also Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Yeah, with those numbers in the box office, no question they're gonna do that. Jacoby says both Love and Thunder and Quantumania felt like there was a good movie in them, but they felt like a missed opportunity. I like Love and Thunder. I don't care, man. I like
I
it. I
I enjoy it, but I have to admit it's one of those. If someone ever asked me what's a movie you watched like the first time, then after rewatch it's kind of gone down, I have to say it's Love and Thunder. But I still enjoy the movie.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, like, I definitely understand all the complaints with it,
Yep.
but to me, I almost said Thor. Chris Hemsworth and Taika Waititi went out to make a screwball, goofy comedy with a romantic edge to it, and that's what they accomplished in my eyes. I have a ball with that movie. I think a lot. The humor just works for me, and I
The
just
only
watch it as a screwball comedy.
the only thing I can say, just a quick side note, is I hate when like a great director makes great movie, and they make one movie that's either da 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 good, bad, whatever you want to say about it. I hate now people are like, get Taika Waititi out of there. It's like, guys, I don't see nobody is perfect unless you're like Christopher Nolan.
I mean, you could even argue Christopher Nolan had his Tenet
No, exactly. Yeah. See, so
personally.
nobody's perfect. Spielberg, my favorite director, has made a bad movie in my opinion. So it is what it is. I just wish people wouldn't go after Taika. The movie didn't
Yeah.
work for you, so be it.
Well, now there's even talk of like they're not going to bring Taika back for Thor 5, and I'm kind of bummed about that.
I saw that and I was like, well, I kind of would rather see him come back and redeem himself. Like,
Yeah, I'm kind of bummed that they're not bringing him back. So, anyways, we'll see what happens. Zack Attack Review says Ant-Man and the Wasp was in between Infinity War and Endgame 2 and didn't make $1 billion. I mean, it's a good point. It's a good point.
that
There's
is
only
that is actually a fair point. You know what? Yeah, that's fair. Trying to see if there's anything I could say, but not really. Yeah, Captain Marvel made $1 billion, and then yeah,
But I mean, Captain Marvel was the one that was like right before Endgame, and they also teased her at the end of Endgame. So you could make
I was about to
that
say that
your
too. At
argument
the
too.
at the end of Infinity War, they teased Captain Marvel as being a very important person.
Exactly.
So people were like, "Well, I need to know who Captain Marvel is, so I know what happens in Endgame." So yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And who is she? She's the lady with the haircut that will fly into the ship at the end. There you go.
Hmm.
That's all you needed to know about her. Jacoby says, but the Marvel's also competing with Hunger Games, and they made a deal with SAG Strike, so the Hunger Games cast will promote it. That is an interesting point as well. But I don't know how well the Hunger Games is going to do.
I
Because
agree.
I feel like Hunger Games, the draw to that was like Jennifer Lawrence and those guys. I don't know if people are gonna come out for Rachel Zegler's version, and also I think the title is a little weird for audience. Like, what is it? Songbirds and Snake Tails, or
The killing of songbirds and yeah, something like that. I will say what you just said. So I watch a lot of football and basketball. Every time there's a commercial now for this movie, they don't say the long title. They say Hunger Games coming on November 17th. They don't even say the whole title. They're promoting as
ah
Hunger Games. So they're trying, but I agree with what you just said, Zach. I'll be shocked if Hunger Games prequel number 5 does really well. That's all I'm gonna say.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the if the audiences aren't over because I feel like Hunger Games kind of came and went. Like
A little bit.
I think the quality is different, but it kind of feels like if they did another Twilight, where like Twilight was this phenomenon. I don't feel like Twilight would be a phenomenon nowadays if you did another one. But who
That's fair.
knows? Who knows? Um, Movie Time Minute saying I predict the Marvels to be right at 500 million total. Yeah, that's a good prediction. Zach Attacks is saying I think it'll probably make 300 million. So that's a little I just that's really low. That's like I hate to say it, that's like DC numbers. And I don't know if I don't think Marvel is there. I don't think Marvel is at the DC numbers yet.
Do you if the Marvels comes out and has the same score as Quantumania, do you think it makes that? Do you think the
Hmm.
early buzz? Because like when does the embargo even lift? Like I haven't
The
even
day
got anything.
before. Bad
Okay,
sign. Bad
okay,
sign.
okay.
I think social media lifts on Monday, but yeah, November 9th is when the embargo for reviews lift, which is a very, very bad sign. I'll say this. The Marvels might be very helped by what the last Marvel movie in theaters was. And what was that?
Guardians.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And audiences loved and ate up Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And the fact that they really liked that Marvel movie might encourage more to come out to the next Marvel movie.
Yeah, but I'm not disagreeing with you at all. It's a Marvel product, so any Marvel product can make $1 billion depending on word of mouth. But I will say Guardians 3 had build up because they promoted it as the last time you see these Guardians. This is James Gunn's last time. So like they promoted that like with that. The Marvels, there's no like something to bring to this theater except, oh, Miss Marvel's meeting Captain Marvel, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, I'm very curious to see how it's going to do. I'm very curious to see what they're
you know
going to
what?
do.
I don't even care if it makes $20. I hope it's a good movie.
Yeah, me too. I just want to have a good time. I just want to enjoy
Exactly.
it. You guys have been absolutely annihilating the chat to the point where there's way too much here to go through. So I apologize to the earlier write-ins. I do have to skim around and just find questions that we can kind of just go off the bat with, and then because we're past the 2.5 hour mark, so super chats will be definitely guaranteed. You'll get those answered, but I apologize. I will have to skip some questions starting from this point. But Ty Jensen's in here, so I want to just say, like, welcome, Ty Jensen's. Thanks for joining us. He's Alden Ehrenreich is who I thought you were saying. Was it Alden Ehrenreich who you were trying to say?
No, I'm Alden. What is his name?
It's not Alden Ehrenreich?
No, I'm trying to think of an old guy. I don't know his name.
All right, no worries, man.
He was in Killers of the Flower Moon. He was the other lawyer. He wasn't Brendan Fraser. He was the other one.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but his name is escaping me as well. Jason Entertainment came in here. What's going on, Jason? Thanks for joining us. He's asking how we're doing. He's saying great stream and keep up the good work. Well, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Jason.
Let's see here. Oh, there you go, Dakota Man Movies. Thank you, Zach, for Blue Beetle. There you go, Dakota Man Movies. Beloved channel member got the code. Well, I hope you enjoy it, man. I hope that you have a fun time watching that. Movie Time Minutes saying that The Punisher is a great choice for the showrunner.
Okay.
I think so. Jacoby's saying, honestly, this is an example of Marvel taking a step back and learning from their mistakes. Let's hope Daredevil is great because previously, yikes. Yeah, I think we both agreed on that too, is like, this shows great confidence in the fact that they were like, this isn't working. Instead of pumping out crap, we're just going to redo it and make it great. So I'm happy about that. Let's see here.
I want Jacoby P and Zach to know. Yes, I see the John Lithgow. Yes, it is John Lithgow.
Oh, John Lithgow. There you go. Alden.
Listen, man,
that was way off.
I'm sorry. There's so many actors. Pay your actors.
Zach Attack saying, I hate this idea as well. Bring the Avengers back.
Yep.
Movie Time Minute saying, I don't think it's something they just pivoted to. I think it was planned all along. I feel if you read or even listen to the book MCU Reign of Marvel Studios, I think you'll start to feel a little bit differently about that, because it's totally changed my perception of how the studio works. Doesn't change the greatness of what Kevin Feige has done and what they have done with the movies. None of that is taken away. They've done miracles and revolutionary stuff in the film industry, but the mystification of it all has been, the curtain has been unveiled for me.
I'll say, all I can really say is, if you say you think it was planned all along, then obviously for Multiverse of Madness, apparently it was true. They were going to try to get Tom Cruise to be Tony Stark in that movie. That was apparently going to happen. So you can say it was planned, but I don't know, man. When I just think the Endgame story really did Tony Stark so well. I just don't think it was ever planned.
No, I completely agree. And Jacoby's saying, plus, do you think Robert Downey Jr. would want to play Iron Man in his 60s? I mean,
not really.
If all he has to do is show up in a mocap suit and say some lines and get paid $60 million, and then they do the VFX with the Iron Man stuff later, I don't know. I don't think it would take that much convincing to get him back.
I mean, all I can say is money does talk, but if they pay him a lot, then obviously I would assume he would do it. But the thing is, like with Oppenheimer, I mean, you get to see Robert Downey Jr. is like a really good actor. Like, I know you haven't seen the movie yet, but he might be winning Best Supporting Actor this year at the award. So like, I feel like he's really turning his career into something like, I can act. I am Iron Man, but I can act. And he's always been a good actor. And I think he's doing a really good job so far.
Yeah. And I honestly, I want to see him move beyond Iron Man, honestly. I want to see him take on some new roles. I want to see him take on some roles, and I don't say this as like ageist or anything, but I want to see him take on roles that reflect his age. I want to see him be like a mentor figure or something, or like even like maybe take a turn and play um Robert De Niro type character in a mobster movie or something,
Okay.
Like I want to see him stretch.
I definitely want to know your
Um
opinion about him when you see Oppenheimer. I want to, because what you just said is
yeah.
you might actually really like him in Oppenheimer then.
That's one of the things I'm most looking forward to when I finally get to see Oppenheimer. Jacoby says for the next phase, focus on the mutants and the Fantastic Four.
I
Honestly,
I think
yeah,
that's what they're doing.
there's so many characters that you could bring into the limelight with that, and I totally think that that's what they're gonna do too. Jacoby says, I always say this: people are fatigued because quality hasn't been up to par for the most part since Phase 3. Phase 1 and 2 are hit and miss for me. They got to change things up to keep audiences invested. Yeah, I mean, they definitely found their stride with Phase 3. That's for sure. Let's see here. Just gonna see. We got a lot of Jacoby, so I want to see if I can find another question from someone who we haven't really gone to in a while. Travis Mitchell says people would hate this, but I think the OG Avengers being taken away, Doctor Strange pulling a variant of Thanos out of desperation, who trains and leads the new Avengers against Kang, would be cool. Maybe in a what if episode, but please don't do that in the movies. Sorry.
I know all this, everything y'all are saying. That'd be a cool what if. Like, I don't even watch What If, but like that just sounds like a neat idea to do. But
Yeah. I mean, to me that still feels like going back to the well. I don't need Thanos back.
nope.
Like Thanos was a great villain in Infinity War and Endgame. They defeated him, great end. I don't need him back. Zack Attack Review says I think that now that DC is quiet, people are attacking the MCU with a lot of hearsay. I think the attacks on, if you want to call them attacks, I would call them just criticisms towards the MCU, have been valid. I think, especially as audience members that have expected one thing from the studio, now getting some less quality, and there's also the most drama that's ever come out of the MCU is happening right now. Like Victoria Alonso getting fired, the Kang stuff going on with Jonathan Majors, um, just the ripping up of Daredevil and the change of the showrunners and everything. Like you didn't really hear stuff like this from Marvel in Phase 1, 2, and 3. It always seemed like this well-oiled machine where everyone got along and everything was going smoothly, and no matter what they did was gold. And that has diminished in the public eye.
I will also say this for a good point with superhero fatigue. I honestly think no one's ever, people know this, but they don't really talk about it. COVID really changed everything on how the movie theater experiences are. And obviously, I think we can tell now people are really using their dollars towards the movies that like are going to be like more big but not superhero. So like Avatar, Top Gun, movies that are huge, but they're not obviously like superhero based. I think after COVID, I think a lot of superhero movies have kind of like changed their basis. And also during the beginning of COVID, they really, really hit us with like 5D Disney Plus shows. And I don't know. I just
Yeah.
too quantity over quality.
Yeah. I think there's also a thing too where once you put something on TV, the audience is suddenly like adjusted to like that's where you watch it. Like that, I think that's hurt Pixar as well.
Marvel is making our audiences do homework for the movies now.
And that's very true as well. Yeah.
And people
There's a
don't like
lot.
homework.
There's a lot that goes into it.
Yep.
Movie Time Minute just sent another super chat, so I'm gonna get to this. $1.99. Thank you very much, DJ. That was very, very nice of you. He says I have to read it, but I still believe there was always in plan. I still believe it was always in plan.
He says he has read it. I have read it.
Oh, I have read. Oh, okay. I saw this still. Okay. I have read it. I still believe there was always a plan. I mean, that's fair. I'm not saying that there was like no plan whatsoever. Like there was like, but I don't think the plan was as extensive as we kind of like led ourselves to believe, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I highly recommend anyone who's into the MCU to read that book. Travis Mitchell saying, "Oh my gosh, Son of the Mask was the first movie I saw in a theater, and was the movie where I learned a theater existed." Wow, dude, you saw all that horror on the big screen. That movie is ugly, man. I just, oh, I hate that movie.
real quick, so this is weird. My technical first movie was Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes, but my mom says I was a little kid and I was running up and down the stairs. The first movie I sat down and watched was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
The first movie my parents told me that they took me to was Toy Story 2. The first movie
Awesome.
that I remember watching is Brother Bear.
Oh, I love Brother Bear. It's so
Yeah, I went
underrated.
on a school trip with my kindergarten class to see that. But I also have very vivid memories of seeing Shrek 2.
Oh, I saw Shrek 2 in theaters.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Shrek 2 in theaters.
That was awesome. I love that.
Classic.
Zach Attack Reviews is saying Captain Marvel has some really personal, great stories in the comics. I wish they would pull more from that. Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing, is they keep like kind of like pumping their chests and being like, we have great characters. We have 1,000 new characters that we can pull. And it's like, well, then show us. Give us those great characters and great stories.
I don't know much about Captain Marvel. I just know Brie Larson plays her. Honestly, that's how I learned about her.
Yeah, I mean, I've only learned about the characters through the Marvel movies as well. So, Solely Streams is saying the Disney Plus shows must be stopped. Go back to 3 movies a year. No extra homework, please. I wouldn't go as far to say that the Disney Plus shows must be stopped. I think there's a way of doing Disney Plus shows without it having the connective tissue so much to the movies. And it would take a little bit for the audience to get adjusted to that. Like it would build over time that people would suddenly get to realize that, okay, the shows, they really don't have that much to do with the, you know what you do? You do the shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would mention things in the movies and they would connect in that way. But if you went to the movie theater and watched an MCU movie, you didn't even need to know that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. existed on television.
That's very true.
They kept their mouths quiet about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the movies. And that's how they need to do their Disney Plus shows. The Disney Plus shows can have the fun little Easter eggs and the fun little connections to the movies for the fans who sit at home and watch it. But if you go to the movie theater, you should not be expected to watch anything at home to understand the movie. That's what I think is a big thing that they're missing. Because I've enjoyed some of the shows, and I don't want them to just stop, to be honest. So he's still saying, no, Zach, they must be stopped. All right, fair enough, man, fair enough. With that, guys, I think we're going to call it a night now. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes into here. I know it's like, what is it, 1 o'clock in the morning for you over there, Jacob?
It is currently, for Sully and I, because I know Sully lives in freaking Boston, it is 1:30 a.m.
It is 1:30, dude. I cannot thank you enough for joining me tonight, for joining me for that late of a time, man. Just taking your time out of your night to be with us, and I really appreciate it. So please tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on the YouTube channel, Jacob Hubbard at Jacob Hubbard Reviews. I do movie reviews of all the new movies coming out for the rest of this year, and I am very excited to get back to it instead of doing all these Halloween reviews. You can find me at Twitter at Jacob Hubby, at Jacob_Hubby99, where I tweet things. Do I tweet every day? No, but I tweet things. Also, pay your writers so we can end this strike and so Deadpool 3 can start filming again. I want to appreciate Zach for bringing me onto this live show. You don't understand how much of a fan I've been watching this for the past 3 months, and the only time I got to join was when I was late to your celebration of 2000. So I once again want to appreciate it, and you should guys go check out my reviews because
Well, dude, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I've been a fan of yours too for a number of years now. So it's great to always have you on here. I'm glad that we got to do this one-on-one. Your solo debut on the show was fantastic, man. And I really appreciated you being here. And with that, guys, yeah, you can catch me on this channel. You can subscribe if you want to keep talking movies. We'd love to have you join our little community. We're trying to hit 2,500 subscribers before the end of the year. We just crossed 2,300. That might have gone down. I don't know. We might have lost a subscriber or not. But hey, if you enjoyed your time, subscribe. We'd love to have you join us. There's a lot more to come, guys. And I will also let you guys know For those that are still watching, next week is my wife's birthday, so I will not be live. There will not be a Zach Milne Talks live next week, but we will return the following week at the same exact time, same exact channel. Have a good night, guys.